hitting back in their hockey game. Some of the hits were controversial, but the battle tide didn't change even into the third period, the period that has become a Capitals nemesis. When 60 hard minutes were ended, the end result was the same. The Bruins, with arms raised, the victors. 3 times in 5 nights it's happened. Once more, the Caps are on the ice surface of Capitol Center in Landover, Maryland, 15 miles northeast of the nation's capital, where tonight it's the Prince of Wales Conference Finals Game 4. The Bruins, the Capitals, next on SportsChannel America. When this series opened last Thursday, both teams were looking to their top guns. The Bruins' hard-hitting right winger Cam Neely, the Capitals' sharp-shooting left winger Jeff Courtnall. Neely's had some solid production, a goal in each game. For Courtnall, no goals. The two men talked of their performances.
Well, I'm happy with the way things have gone, but I could probably help taking the body a little bit more. I tried to do that in the third game. I'll try and do it again tonight, but it's something that I think helps my game and helps the guys that I'm playing with.
Well, it's been a frustrating series for myself. I've had some good opportunities to score, and I've been trying to maybe pick the corners a bit too much and haven't been able to score, and it's been tough, but I think personally I've got to just try to hit the middle of the net and hope they go in and maybe help my team out a little more offensively.
Shrouded by the question, will this be the last game here this season? Live from the Capitol Center, SportsChannel America brings you Game 4, the Boston Bruins and the Washington Capitals in the Prince of Wales Conference Final.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. The Boston Bruins up 3-0 in this series, certainly proving that their regular season performance, best overall, was no fluke.
Well, Jakes, the one thing you don't want to run into in the playoffs is a team that's on a roll. Sure, the Bruins are a good team, but besides that, they are on a roll. They are functioning on all cylinders, and somebody apparently has poured about a 5-pound bag of sugar into the gas tank of the Washington Caps. They simply can't get their offense going at all.
Yeah, Bill, when you think back, in winning the division title, they had an opportunity to sweep the Montreal Canadiens. Did not. In Montreal, lost Game 4. What do they do tonight to avoid that? How do they go about winning Game 4?
Well, I think one of the keys has to be Andy Moog. He has played so well in this series, but he's going to be called upon again. They will tell you, the Bruins, that the toughest game to win is the one that eliminates the other team. So Andy Moog will be a big factor. The other one is unforced errors. I really believe if the Bruins can avoid unforced errors, that they will win this hockey game. The Capitals are a frustrated bunch, and basically, the Bruins' biggest enemy potentially is themselves. And if they can avoid the unforced errors, they'll have it.
The Bruins really feel that getting the lead is most important. They want to take the Caps and the crowd out early, maintain the lead, maintain the tempo all night long. And to get the Washington perspective, here's John Davidson.
Jiggs, the Washington Capitals head coach Terry Murray has spent the last 2 days trying to get his team back playing what he calls their style of hockey. Now, when he mentions that, he talks about old-fashioned hockey. Dump the puck into the offensive zone. Nothing too fancy. Grind in the corners. Battle and outwork the opposition. And when you get the puck in the offensive zone, just throw it at Andy Moog. Try and crowd Andy Moog. He's not real big. Do your best to screen him. Scoring's been a major problem. They've scored 4 goals in the series, 2 on the power play, 1 shorthanded, and only 1 at even strength, a major problem for them. Now, Dino Ciccarelli, as you see here, practicing today, will not play in this game. Dino Ciccarelli feels when he shoots the puck, he still has a twinge in the knee, does not want to take a chance whatsoever. The Capitals will be making and planning on 4 different changes in the lineup. Mike Liut will start in place of Don Beaupre.
The Prince of Wales Trophy. It goes to the Stanley Cup finalists from the conference. If it's in Bruins' hands tonight, it'll be the first time it's ever been clinched in just 7 days. Game 4, opening face-off, coming up. From the nation's capital, the 1990 Stanley Cup playoffs on SportsChannel America, brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft, cold filtered for real draft taste, so tap into the cold. By Nike, who reminds you to just do it. By AT&T, the right choice. And by Lincoln, what a luxury car should be.
And now 15 miles away from the nation's capital, 18,000 going wild, cheering for the Washington Capitals, who have just made their appearance on this ice surface. The question to be answered, is it their last appearance this season? Game 5, if there is to be a Game 5, would be in Boston on Friday night. They would like to bring 6 games into the series and bring it back home here on Sunday. But there's a lot of work to be done between now and then. This crowd, well, yes, there are some Bruins fans, including the Bob Sweeney fan club here. These people have come to cheer on the Washington Caps tonight. They've never been this far before. You know the story and the history of this franchise. 16 seasons, the first 8 without a trip to the playoffs. And then for 8 consecutive seasons, make the playoffs, but never get very far.
I think the best way to describe how the Washington Capitals are going to have to play this hockey game is with controlled desperation. Those two terms contradict one another at times. Yet the Caps are going to have to find a way to integrate them and to play on the bubble all game long.
Play on the bubble, I like that. Terry Murray, the coach of the Caps, telling us this morning that he's seen some good things, positive things in every game, but not enough of the right things. Now that may sound like a cliche, I suppose, and we promised one another we wouldn't get into a lot of cliches, but the right things, you have to do the right things consistently in order to win, and that will certainly be a big goal, big step for the Caps to take here tonight. And there is Terry Murray, Ron Laird, the assistant coach on the bench. And those who hadn't been standing and cheering are now asked to rise for the singing of the national anthem. Here is Mr. Glenn Cunningham.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of God.
And as the ovation continues at the Capitol Center, the referee tonight will be Denny Morrell. Gord Brosiker and Kevin Collins will work the lines. Dennis Morrell in and out of some controversial calls this season. Gets to work Game 4 in this series. And checking out the goaltenders, the Boston Bruins naturally make no change. 30-year-old Andy Moog has brought that goals against average in the playoffs down to 1.91. 24 wins in the regular season, 11 more here in the playoffs.
Terry Murray is making a change. You know, Don Beaupre played very well the last 2 games, but what are you going to do? You have to go down swinging. Don Beaupre wasn't able to backstop the Caps to a win, so Mike Liut is starting here in Game 4.
And now we remind you that tonight's opening faceoff is sponsored by Showtime. Showtime exclusives, here you see them, there you don't. And immediately the Boston Bruins into the Washington zone, but up come the Caps, only to have the play broken up by Wesley, and he's given it to Bork. Back to Wesley. There he moves into forecheck. Bulls able to play it hard into the Washington zone. Stevens moves it up the boards. All the way back inside the Boston territory. It'll be chased down by Bork. Into forecheck, Murray. Kiprios comes in along with Alan May, but the Bruins have sprung the puck into the center ice zone. Christian dumping it into the Washington territory. That's Langway trying the left side with a pass to Kiprios. He skies one out through center ice. It's handled by Don Sweeney. Bruins have made a change on defense. Sweeney out now, along with Galley. Sheehy in the lineup tonight for the Caps. Gave it to Langway and turns it over. Here's Carpenter off the left side. Can't get the backhand of the rebound. Comes back. They score! John Carter.
Well, this is exactly what the Bruins wanted and exactly what the Caps wanted to avoid. What an uncharacteristic pass by Rod Langway. He was backing out of his zone towards the blue line with full possession, and he tried to pass it back to Sheehy. We pick it up here when Carpenter's already cut the pass. He fanned on the pass out in front, but Mike Liut put it right into John Carter, and Carter, I don't know if it hit him with his stick or what, but it went right in behind Mike Liut.
John Carter's 5th goal of the playoffs. Bang, bang. 53 seconds into the opening period. Carter from Carpenter. And the Bruins are up 1-0 and right back in again. That shot takes off, hitting Langway's stick and ending up in the seats. Langway gets up, pushing him. Bobby Gould. You look at Gary Galley. Both Gould and Galley former Caps. Now in the Boston uniforms.
You know, we talked about Mike Liut. He is one change for the Washington Caps. Neil Sheehy started this game. He's still on the ice. He is in for Scott Kleinendorf. Michael Pavanka will play for John Tucker. And Steve Malte will play for Bob Joyce. There's Mike Liut. He is the 4th change. So Terry Murray has made 4 changes here for Game 4.
A look at Bob Carpenter. Started his National Hockey League career 9 seasons ago with the Washington Capitals. Bounced around a little bit, was with the Rangers, then the Kings, and has found a home back in his Boston native area. And certainly contributing in this round as he has throughout the playoffs, setting up that goal by Carter a few moments ago. Now Carpenter gets checked in the center ice zone. Stevens trying to play the puck through Bourque, could not, and they're back over the line 2-on-1. Here's Carpenter with a shot. Pad save, and it's juggled and held by Mike Liut. Liut looking a little shaky in the early stages here, Bill. And now they got a little jostling going on to the side of the net. Liut says he doesn't want to look at it.
You know, he's certainly off to a tough start. On the goal, he shoveled the puck right into John Carter, but the puck was coming so slowly, he didn't have many options. What he really could have done is turn his stick the other way and continue the puck in the same direction, right through the crease in front of his feet into the corner. But Mike Liut is left-handed. And he's not right-handed. That's one of the problems he has in maneuvering his stick with the right hand. He's a left-handed guy, and he wears a mask that's 5 years old. It's got chunks out of the top of it. You can see some of them that have been replaced with a paint job. We had to get really close to show everybody at home these. He doesn't want to change. What an old-school guy. No paint job on the mask, and the straps on that mask, they look like my hockey equipment in my bag, all gnarled and dried out and ready to snap at any second.
34-year-old Mike Liut in the nets tonight with a 5-year-old mask and helmet. I'll be. Bourque making the play through center for the Boston Bruins. Stevens backs into his own zone. Looks towards Steve Leach moving up the right side. Gave it to Miller instead. Now Ridley steals it, trying to step through the defense, and big Al Peterson got back in a hurry. Peterson tied up behind the net with Ridley, but still able to move the puck to the left side. Good dumps it out through center ice. And the Bruins will set up again inside their own zone. Now they get everybody together. Prop, Janney, and Neely. Can't get the puck into the Washington territory. It goes out of play at the penalty box. And the clock stopped with 17 minutes and 53 seconds remaining in this opening period. But very quickly tonight, the Boston Bruins took the crowd out of it. 53 seconds into the game, and that goal by Carter.
Well, Steve Leach found it strange playing in Boston. He grew up 15 minutes from the Boston Garden, and he played a lot of huge high school games there. You know, it's a distraction sometimes in the playoffs, Jigs. You go back home. He had to get 15 tickets in Boston. Here he doesn't have to get nearly that many, and I talked to him before Game 3, and he said it's nice to see family, but this time of season, when you want to focus on what you have to do, sometimes you don't need those distractions, and it was kind of nice for him to come back to the Cap Center. He said that he doesn't want to change anything that he is doing, and the Mike Ridley line that he's playing on, they think they're getting their chances. They just have to put them away.
Haven't been able to finish, and of course part of that is the goaltending of Andy Moog. Here the Caps have big problems in their own end of the ice, but they do get back in time to knock it away from Janney. Shot right back in again by Beers. Liut lets it go round the boards, and Leach tips it out through center ice. Wesley back on defense now for Boston, gives it to Beers. Over to Wesley. That's Ridley forechecking for the Caps. They kick 2 men back. Now Miller starts in, but the Bruins make the pass through center to Bob Sweeney. He's across the line, playing it through Johansson, and Liut steers it aside. Langway trying to go up the boards with the pass. Had it picked off by Bob Sweeney. Centered in front. Neely couldn't take the pass from Prop. Comes right back to the blue line. Wesley puts it back in the net. Ryan Prop left it there, and here's Langway feeding it to the left side to Leach. Plays it through Ridley. Miller comes over the line on the right side. Miller trying to go in around Galley. Centers. Nobody there for the Washington Caps. Painter coming late. Moves out of the left wing boards. Centers it across. It's banged off the side of the net. Held in now. Rouse puts it back in the goal for Ridley. Ridley trying to get away from Bob Sweeney. And the Bruins are able to clear the puck all the way back inside the Washington zone. Picking it up is Kent Painter. Out to Malte. Steve Malte here on the left side. His first taste of Stanley Cup playoff action, and a big hit thrown by the combination of Hagen and Galley. Malte into forecheck. Gets a piece of the puck, and Don Sweeney. And the Caps come up with it. Pavanka centered one across. Rouse in late, couldn't get to it in time. Now he ties up the man over on the far side. Hagen trying to jab it loose. Did. Malte puts it on Pavanka's stick. Out for Pavanka. Steve Malte. Malte, 21-year-old player who's been in Baltimore his first season of pro hockey, playing on this line with Berglund and Pavanka. Malte had the feet knocked out from under him. Play allowed to continue. And the Bruins work it out through center and back inside the Washington zone.
That's good containment by the Pavanka line. Pavanka and Malte have moved in for Tucker and Joyce here in Game 4. And Terry Murray said this morning, quite frankly, we're not getting any offense from a line that's supposed to be able to score. Tucker and Joyce are supposed to be providing offense. They are not. That's why Pavanka and Malte are in here.
Malte, a big scorer in junior, getting a taste tonight. Now they watch Carpenter move into the corner, pulls up, center one in front. Great save by Liut, and he has the rebound. Big stop, first of all, on Christian, and then Burridge was right there on the doorstep with him. But the goal by John Carter in the opening minute has the Bruins on top, 1-0.
Well, Jakes, you mentioned Malte getting his first taste of Stanley Cup action. He bit off a mouthful there, didn't he? With Galley coming and squashing him along the boards, but you can only stay down for a split second. We're down to the semis. I mean, this is the Wales Conference Championship, so Malte got right back up and came in to help Pavanka, and watch Malte right back in the play. You got to like that. That's the way you have to play.
He's a big kid, 6'2", 210 pounds. And if you played a season in the American Hockey League, you know how to give a hit and take a hit by now. Bork dumping the puck in at the line. It's knocked away, controlled by Carpenter, and back go the Caps. Liut leaving it behind the net for Scott Stevens. Hunter turns in the left wing corner. Courtnall cuts through in front of the net, and Stevens elects to carry it out before giving it to Courtnall. Courtnall along the right wing boards, got tripped up at the blue line. Fans appealing for a penalty. There will be none. And Sheehy dumps the puck in on the part of the Caps. Here's Raymond Bork. The Bruins captain played it to the left side. They try to come off the boards, and the puck spun to Bork. Now up ahead to Gould. Gould's first taste of action in this series. Sheehy trying to play it out, could not. And he goes for the man. The puck comes loose, and Sheehy gets a little bit of help here from Hunter, who was all over Bobby Carpenter. In the meantime, Courtnall breaks through center ice. He and John Druce over the line. Druce with a long shot. Mold the save. Plays it out ahead, and back come the Bruins. This is John Carter. Carter through center, dumps one in off the boards. And it'll be picked up by Rod Langway. Langway missed Malte here on the left wing boards. It'll go the length of the ice. Beers back to put a stick on it. That's an icing call against the Washington Capitals. Caps, who have never led a game in the series, trailing 1-0 on a goal by Carter. 53 seconds into the opening period. 18,130 loyal supporters are very quiet. A look at the former Philadelphia Flyer, Dave Poulin, who steps in to take the face-off here for the Bruins. Christian on the right side, Burridge on the left. For Washington, Murray taking the draw. Burridge puts the puck back in the net. There's Christian trying to center one. Murray got to it, cleared the zone. Berglund slowed up on the play by Wesley, and that gave Beers a chance to play it. Now Berglund drops it back to Langway. To Johansson. Had a rolling puck to contend with, and made the pass to Malte, and he's checked at center ice. Poulin couldn't get Burridge across the line. Here's Johansson quickly to the Boston line. Then it to Pavanka on left wing to Johansson, and he can't make the play. Now he centers, and Berglund was well covered. Comes back to Malte, covering the left point. Works it around the boards in the Boston zone. It'll be brought back by Burridge. Randy Burridge, Christian, and Poulin across the line. Burridge left the puck there, and it's brought back by Painter. 4 Bruins get back before Painter dumps it in from center ice. Andy Moog plays it around the boards. Randy Burridge left it there. Now Don Sweeney can't make the play out of the zone. Caps handled it at center ice. Murray is over the line. Looked up to see Galley charging at him. Murray centers. That's steered aside. May going for the front of the net. Failed to make contact. It comes right back to Rouse. Bob Rouse with lots of room. Shoots one that's high and wide. Rebounds back to Painter for a shot. Stick save by Moog, and he's crashed into. Washout signal given by the referee. Moog is screaming. So is the Bruin bench. The contact with the goalkeeper, and no call. Now the Caps dump it down the ice. Chasing it is Don Sweeney. Moog directing some traffic. Sweeney goes to the left side with a pass, and immediately Rouse is on the man. It came right back to Don Sweeney. Neat move around Miller. Centers one, and it's broken up by Stevens. Scott Stevens plays the right side. Caps come to center. Leach over the line, taking Ridley's pass, but can't get any further. Now Miller dumps it in deep. Leach going back to the net. Chases it toward the corner. Look toward Stevens as he brought it all the way back to the point before dumping it off to Ridley, and Bork is right on him. Now Miller comes in off the left wing boards. Gets tied up. Bruins hanging the puck along the boards, but not clearing it momentarily. Finally, they do get it to Neely, and he's checked by Stevens. Bounces through to center ice and stolen by Ridley. Up to Miller. Miller can't get it to Leach on the far side, and back come the Bruins. Janney over the line, looks toward Props, but it instead to Wesley, and his shot is blocked by Stevens. Comes loose in front, Liut down to block it. There's it to the side of the net. Janney in a battle for it. It's won by the Caps, and Miller comes out in the left wing position. The pass to Steve Leach. Lays it in around Wesley.
You know, before that Bruins chance, the situation that the Caps had going in the Bruins end is so typical of their season. Good pressure, forcing well in the offensive zone. Not enough guys who can put the puck away, and they outplay so many teams, and did during the regular season, but didn't beat a lot of the teams that they outplayed for the same reasons we just saw.
Need a finisher, need somebody that can put the puck in the net, and wouldn't they love to have Dino Ciccarelli in this game, or even a Kevin Hatcher who controls things, especially on their power play. Big defenseman. Langway waits behind the Caps goal. Puck picked up here. John Druce takes a heavy hit, but he's able to clear it outside the line, only to have it shot back in by Galley. 1-0. The Boston Bruins leading the Washington Capitals. We're midway through the opening period at the Cap Center. Rod Langway with a feed to Courtnall. Jeff Courtnall down right wing across the Boston line. Spins it back to Johansson. Druce cut through. Johansson couldn't get the puck to him. Now Courtnall puts it back in the net. Johansson trying to center out in front. Courtnall's shot is turned aside. Courtnall centers it again, but the Bruins stepping in front of Druce broke up that play. John Carter comes to center before shooting it into the Washington zone, and the Bruins go for a player change. Painter comes off the boards, plays it up the right side to his defense mate Johansson, and the Bruins right on that. Painter tries again with a pass, this time to Balte. Steve Balte puts it in the far corner. Al Peterson back for it. Peterson gets hemmed into the corner by Berglund. Bob Sweeney there as well. That's Pavanka, the other Washington Capitals player, and the puck comes loose. Ends up in the near corner. Lyndon Byers takes a hard hit from Pavanka, but managed to clear the puck out, only to have Rouse get to it quickly. Peterson drops back. Peterson slams it around the boards, intended for Byers. In quickly is Balte. Good play with a pass to Pavanka to Balte, and he can't go anywhere. Balte gets stripped up back to the net, and the game's first penalty will go against the Boston Bruins. The Washington Caps will go to the man advantage. With the score, the Bruins 1, the Caps nothing. Let's pause for a regional break. Sports Channel America's coverage of the Wales Conference Championship Series will continue in a moment.
Well, the Caps may be trailing this game, but so far they've outworked the Bruins. Steve Malte's hard work in behind the net forced a cross-checking penalty by Bob Sweeney. There's Sweeney, number 20 of the Bruins. You know, he had lost Malte. He didn't have much choice, but to take him down from behind, couldn't even get the stick around in front of him to hook. So here we go on the power play. The Caps have scored a couple of power play goals in this series. It hasn't been their biggest problem. It's the even strength situations.
2 power play goals, a shorthanded goal, and 1 at even strength of the 4 that the Caps have scored in 3 games. Now they get to the puck. Ridley dumps it wide of that Boston goal. It's knocked away from Bork. Leach to Miller to Ridley in the corner. Can't get it back to Miller. And it's cleared off Johansson at the blue line. Johansson and Stevens on the points for Washington. Up front, Ridley, Miller, and Leach. Scott Stevens playing it through Poulin to Johansson. Down to Miller. Knocked away from him. He gets to it again. Kelly Miller playing it in deep. Steve Leach puts the hit on Don Sweeney. Miller goes looking for the puck. Leach gets to it. Leach makes the play. Back to the point. Johansson lets it fly. It's deflected and just wide of the net. Here's Leach. Leach steps out of the corner. Look towards Stevens. He's picked up immediately by Don Sweeney's check, and Stevens fires one. It's weak shot, steered aside by Moog. And Brian Propp has dumped it down into the Washington territory. Quickly, Liut moved it up to Stevens. Had nobody coming with him on the transition here. Both teams in the middle of changes. Courtnall can't put it on Hunter's stick. Hunter ties up his man, however, and that gave Druce an opportunity to play it. Bork gets it to the line, held in by Stevens. Up it toward the corner. There's Bork with 42 seconds remaining in the Washington power play, and he shot it down the ice. Ayuk leaving it for Stevens. Hunter, Courtnall, and Druce waiting out in the center ice area. Well up ahead of the puck carrier here. Now the pass to Hunter. He gave it to Druce. Druce trying to cut in. Courtnall is there. Can't get a stick on it. Good checking job on Druce. Big play by Galley. This is Stevens now through center. Playing it away from Carter. Dumped into the far corner by Rouse. Hunter goes in after, stepping in front of Val Peterson. Hunter puts it back in the net. Courtnall feeds the blue line. Rouse to Johansson, who's just come out of the player change. Centers one across. Courtnall tips it in front, right across the goal mouth. Nobody making contact with it, and the power play is over. Boston has iced the puck. Johansson in to touch up. And with the score, the Boston Bruins won. The Washington Capitals nothing. Let's pause for a regional break. Sports Channel America's coverage of the Wales Conference Championship Series will continue in a moment.
There's Big Al Peterson, number 41 of the Bruins. He is able to play tonight, but he took a whack on the head in Game 3. He got squashed into the boards, and this is the way his eye looked yesterday. And yes, his right eye is open. There you can see it. His left eye was swollen shut. He put a patch on there that applied a lot of pressure. Today it's okay to play, and I'll tell you what, he would have been a huge loss for the Bruins had he not been able to answer the bell here tonight.
Yeah, he sure would. What a nice young man. They say now he's playing so much better physically, clearing the man in front of the net. They knew he could rush the puck and make good passes, but he is at a far better level now than he had been earlier in the season. Kiprios into forecheck. That'll be an icing call. Play stopped with 7 minutes and 21 seconds remaining in the opening period. And the Boston Bruins, on the strength of John Carter's goal, have a 1-0 lead over the Washington Capitals.
Well, so far, Terry Murray is not getting the results that he wanted. He said this morning, I don't want my guys to make that extra pass. I want them to do that old-fashioned hockey stuff that John Davidson talked about before the game. I want them to get a shot on net, even on the power play. On the Caps' last power play, it was a full 2 minutes long. They only attempted one shot. It was blocked, so they ended up with no shots on goal in a power play early in a hockey game.
And just not getting the message through to people right now. They'll tell you what they have to do, but the execution isn't there. Here's Neely off the right wing boards, leading the Bruin rush, putting one in front, only to have it taken away by Ridley. Up to Miller, 3-on-2 at center ice. Leach on the right side. Miller handling the puck. Hits around one man, cruises in, and then can't make the pass as he put it off the skates of Beers. Trying to be too fine with it. The puck tied up in the corner. Play called. The face-off will be in the Washington zone. Actually, a hand pass being charged here. Mike Ridley, Kelly Miller, and Steve Leach.
Same idea, right? Nobody wants to shoot it. Mike Ridley's been guilty of it as well. And you know what? Mike Ridley, as a line with his guys, with Leach and with Miller out there, should get their chances against the Janney line, and that has been a key matchup. And Terry Murray said he said this morning, fame and fortune's in the offensive zone, and Cam Neely and Craig Janney know that. So they're going to overcompensate a little bit, and as a result, leave themselves out of position defensively at times. That should open it up for Ridley and Miller, but it hasn't happened in this series, and you're not going to stop the Janney line completely. What you have to do is try and play equal to them in the offensive department, and the Ridley line hasn't done it yet.
Now the Bruins making a change here on defense. The forward line remains, however. Janney, Neely, and at this moment they have Hoggood up there as the left winger. Stevens banks it off the right wing boards. That's Peterson going back. Leach leans into him, but Bork is there to help out. Now Miller gets to Bork, knocking him down. And the puck tied up for a face-off in the Boston end of the ice. 6 minutes and 29 seconds remaining in the opening period. 1 goal, 1 penalty is all we've put on the board so far.
You know, we asked Terry Murray this morning if he second-guessed his matchups. You know, Hunter out there against Poulin, and with Ridley out there against Janney. He said, no, he said, I'm happy with the matchups. I'm just not happy with the results of the matchups. And I'm glad he has that confidence, because I think he's right. He's got the right matchups out there. His guys just haven't been able to produce and perform the way they have to make a little more headway against the Bruins. But I was happy to hear him say that he has the confidence to avoid second-guessing his own choices when they've gone this far.
Just haven't played as well in this series as they did against the New York Rangers or in the opening round against the New Jersey Devils. And part of that has to be credited to the Boston Bruins. They've taken away some areas too. Stevens taking the puck out of the air, able to move it to Courtnall, and he's dumped it in around the boards of the Boston zone. Bolt cuts it off for Peterson. Peterson and Bork playing together on the Boston defense. Peterson dumps it off the boards. There's Burridge on the left side. Got it ahead to Poulin. Immediately, he's tied up with Bob Rouse. Hunter over there as well. So is Drews. It's Drews trying to work it out of the skates of Burridge, and it's been frozen long enough for a face-off. Little jostling, little pushing. Now Hunter gets involved, sticks up. The linesmen move in. This is the center ice area, so all 10 players are gathered round.
Well, look out. It's going to happen. Randy Burridge was at it with Dale Hunter along the boards, and then Big Al Peterson, in spite of those stitches you saw in his eye, he moved right in to help out smaller Randy Burridge.
Stevens is circling, trying to get it at Peterson. He's pulled back by his teammates. And referee Denny Morrell will have some penalties. Stevens still just sort of cruising at the moment. One area that Scott Stevens has improved his play in over the past several seasons, maintaining his control, but there will be penalties here, and the Bruins are up 1-0.
Welcome back to the Cap Center. One thing opposition goaltenders will tell you about playing in this arena is when shots are directed towards them above the boards, the seats are so dark that the puck gets hard to see. Now, what's happened during the playoffs is the fans here in the Cap Center are wearing white, lots of white. The opposition goaltenders coming in will tell you that helps them. Therefore, they're able to see the puck a lot easier.
That's interesting, isn't it? When you think of how the promotions department here and everybody involved, the marketing department, asked people to wear white, it maybe wasn't to their benefit.
No, but that aspect of the seats being dark and the puck getting lost went back to the days when the Caps didn't draw anybody in the stands. They had to be empty. The seats had to be empty.
Not too many came to see you play, huh? Burridge and Hunter have received roughing penalties. 14:05 of the opening period. Offsetting penalties. Teams remain at equal strength. Carter falling down. The pass didn't appear to be that hard, did it? Another Bruin. Christian tumbles to the deck, but they break out 3-on-2 anyway. Carter is over the line with it, trying to make the play, and Poulin was well covered. Murray moves it up the boards to Alan May. May puts it in the center ice area, and Gary Galley goes back for it. Banks it off the boards to Poulin. That results in an offside pass. Originating in the Boston zone, picked up by a teammate on the Washington side of the ice.
Boy, the Caps sure are winning the one-on-one battles. Physically, the Caps have been dominant here in Game 4 so far, and they really were in Game 3. But if they go on to lose this series and look back, they have to look back to Games 1 and 2, where they really strayed from the style that got them by the New York Rangers and by the Devils. But they're back on top of their hitting game right now, and that is part of what Terry Murray wanted tonight. That's part of old-fashioned hockey. Basic stuff. Watch Rob Murray right here. KO Dave Christian.
There has to be some point in this series, whether it's tonight or if the series progresses, where the hitting that we saw, as you mentioned, in Game 3 and again here tonight, has to wear down this Boston team.
We mentioned this in Game 3. It's a cumulative thing. You can't hit for 3 minutes in the first and 6 minutes in the second and then 2 minutes in the third, and you can't hit in Game 1 and then not in Game 2 and 3 and back and forth. You have to do it every game if you want to wear the opposition down, and that's one of those things the Caps can control. You can't give a guy and inject finesse into his hands and his arms, the ability to put the puck away, but you can darn well get him to go out there and hit if you're the coach.
Vaca centering this line right now with Malte on the left side, Berglund on the right. Myers can't get to the puck at the Washington line. Sheehy moved it up, and now Pavanka gets over the line, is taken off the puck by Gary Galley. Craig Hoggood spins it up ahead. Here's Bob Sweeney over the line. Crisscrossing Myers with it now. Then Myers centers, and the shot steered aside. Good drive by Don Sweeney. Boston defenseman, the smallest of their defensemen, moves in, joining the play. Now Sweeney gets checked in center by Berglund, but Galley is there. This is an area that we've talked about as well. The way the Bruins back up one another. Any little giveaway, any little mistake, and they're right back on it in a hurry. And a quick shot is blocked. The rebound is loose and fired right across the front of the net by Hoggood. Beers from the point. His shot deflected wide by Liut. Stevens takes the man. Nobody coming in at the moment to get the puck. Now Neely and Miller arrive. Cam Neely has it knocked away by Kelly Miller. Miller comes to the left wing boards, recovers, and clears the zone with a neat little pass to Wrigley. Now to Leach. Leach fires a long one. That's deflected and went wide of the net. Caps trying to hold it in at the line, cannot, and the Bruins up with it. This is Janney. Neely moving up with him. He dropped it back. Wesley to Janney, and he played it right through his teammate. Now it's spun in front, but there's Leach. Leach clears the zone. Wesley puts it right back in again. Bob Rouse clears the zone with it, and here's Brian Propp at center ice for the Bruins. Back to Bork. Bork, with under 4 minutes remaining in the opening period, has given it to Peterson. He's down the left side with a pass. Comes to the right wing now to Carter. Gould goes to the side of the net, but the Caps Able to break it up momentarily. Carter right back on the puck is checked this time by Rouse. Bob Rouse down left wing. Puts it in play in the Boston end of the ice. It'll be tracked down by Bork. Caps in the middle of the player change. They get some good forechecking set up here by Pavanka, and Courtnall steals the puck. Walks out of the corner, shoots one that went wide of the net. Ray Bork plays it to right wing. Carpenter takes the man, then gets to the puck, and finally clears the zone. Coming back is Pavanka. He gives it to Langway. Now to Courtnall. Jeff Courtnall spotted Pavanka moving up. He's into the Boston zone, only to be met by Raymond Bork. Wolf plays it around behind the net. Dave Poulin with it now. Courtnall bumps him. Johansson got a piece of his man as well, and there's a penalty call coming. An interference penalty against the Washington Capitals with 2 minutes and 48 seconds remaining in this opening period. It's still a 1-0 lead on the part of the Boston Bruins.
Few players have been so dominant in a playoff game this spring as Mark Messier was last night in Chicago. This is his second goal of the game from a Craig Simpson pass. It evened the series and got home ice back for his team. Game 5, 9:30 Eastern tomorrow night on SportsChannel America.
Pat Foley, of course, and Dale Talon bringing you coverage of that game tomorrow night. I'm Jakes McDonald with Bill Clement, Mike Emmerich, and John Davidson here at the Cap Center. The Caps are a man short, and the Bruins send Neely over the line. Drop, Galley, Wesley, they all come in across the line, joining the play here. Janney makes it. The pass back to Galley, to Janney, to Prop in the corner. Plays it around to the opposite corner. This is Neely. Langway got to him, but the pass found its way to the point. Janney is taking it from Galley. Janney centers one through everybody. It's loose on the right wing boards, and Wrigley gets to it. He's tripped up. Play is allowed to continue. Miller has it at center ice. Over that Boston line, he's picked up by 3 Bruins. Still maintain control of the puck for a brief moment. And now Janney comes to the Washington line. Janney with a pass to Prop. Shoots one. Liut the save, and Stevens is right on it. Stevens banks it off the glass, now over the glass, and play is called with 1 minute and 53 seconds remaining in the period. Courtnall's penalty is for elbowing, and that puts Washington a man short. You see the Bruins' numbers on the power play in this series, 2 of 13.
They haven't really torn it up with their power play, James, but one thing that they've done is really they've diffused the Caps' penalty killing in the sense that they're not nearly as aggressive as they were in Game 1. The Bruins have too much talent out there to really force them as much as the Caps did against the Rangers. So you see them playing a much more passive box in their end than they did in games 1 and 2.
Line up here in the circle to the left of Mike Liut. Caps get the draw. Sheehy brings it out of the zone. Murray had won the faceoff, and Sheehy slams it in off the glass. Into forecheck goes Tim Berglund. Berglund trying to clear the zone, but it went right to Neely. It's turned back by Berglund. So the Bruins try it again. That pass up the right side, handled down by Neely. Runs into Stevens. Stevens couldn't knock him off the puck. They center it back. Hoggood with a shot, just wide of Mike Liut. Bruins with it again. From back of the net, Janney trying to make that play. Puts it behind the goal. Greg Hoggood centers. Neely shoots, he scores!
It's one thing to know he's there. It's another thing to stop him. Cam Neely's bread and butter area on the power play is right about from where he shot. He'll come into the picture in the middle of the hash marks. Right now, Neely is right where he wants to be, high in the slot, directly in front of Mike Liut. Tim Berglund didn't get to him in time. But boy, the Bruins work it well from behind. And when they have a guy like Neely out in front, you know that the Caps are going to have a problem. Great pass from Janney in behind the net and then out to Neely, and bingo, power play goal.
And here's the way the Bruins reacted when the puck went in the net. Neely's 11th of the playoffs, coming at 18:42 of the opening period on the power play. And some of these folks are headed for the exits early. Longtime fans not too pleased with the fact that their team's down. They're 1 minute and 18 seconds from the end of the opening period. Hunter puts the puck back into his own zone following the draw. Langway gets to it. Rod Langway. Johansson tipped it just out of the reach of Courtnall, and that forces Moog out of the net. As Bruce comes in quickly, Moog turns it over. Hunter gets to the puck. Reaches the point. This is Johansson with a shot. Stretching save off the blocking glove of Andy Moog. Caps answer right back, trying to get themselves into this game late in the first period. Less than a minute to go. Boston playing it around the boards, out towards center ice, and Langway gets to it inside the Washington zone. Janney and Hoggood had the assists on Cam Neely's 11th goal of the playoffs, and here's Druce. Takes the shot, dropped it back. Johansson to Druce. Trying to center. Courtnall gets it teed up. Only to have it blocked by Bork, and they cleared the zone. Down the left side is Burridge. Burridge centers. Poulin can't make the play. Now it's loose in front. Cleared aside by Liut. Courtnall comes racing down the left side with 20 seconds to play in the period. Jeff Courtnall nudges it toward Hunter. The painter takes it off the boards. Lets it go. Stick save by Moog. Courtnall ties up Gould in the corner. May comes in to join the play. 6 seconds remaining in the period, but Galley takes it back of the net and banks it off the boards and down the ice. That'll do it for the opening period. The Boston Bruins successful in their game plan, scoring early, getting the lead, protecting it well, and at the end of one period they have a 2-0 lead over the Washington Capitals. A goal by Neely coming on the power play at 18:42, with the assists to Janney and Hoggood, sending the Boston Bruins to the dressing room with a 2-0 lead. Let's join John Davidson.
Another period of discipline for the Boston Bruins, another period where they're able to operate behind the net. There's 3 goals in 2 games here in Boston, or pardon me, here in Washington, where the Bruins have been able to operate from behind, set the puck up in front. An outstanding period once again. It's the 4th time in this series the Bruins have scored the first goal of the period, which really helps. We've got Ted Sater coming over here. We'll ask Ted about the period. Ted, the assistant coach with the Bruins. Ted, discipline's been a key word for your team. What do you preach to your players?
Well, we want to stay away from retaliation penalties by all costs. We knew that Washington was going to come out and play very physical. We didn't want to get involved in anything chippy in the beginning and hope that if they did, we could capitalize with a power play goal, and we got one at the end of the period.
Can your team play better?
Well, the drum we're marching to right now is our own, and we challenge ourselves every day. The guys are playing extremely well right now. The confidence is up. We just hope it keeps rolling.
All right, thanks, Ted. Ted Sater, assistant coach of the Boston Bruins. Back to you, Jakes.
Seems like the era of the big bad Bruins does not exist anymore. No retaliation at the end of one period. It's the Boston Bruins 2 and the Washington Capitals nothing. The Caps, a dominant team, but not able to score in this series.
20 minutes have come and gone here in Game 4 of the Wales Conference Final. The score, the Boston Bruins leading the Washington Capitals 2-0. It was John Carter at 53 seconds of the first period from Bobby Carpenter to put the Bruins ahead 1-0. And then late in the period, a power play goal from Cam Neely. He's gotten a goal in each of the games in this series. Hoggood and Janney assisting at 18:42. Shots on goal in the period for the Bruins 9, for the Capitals 5. Great physical hockey by the Caps in the first period, but they trailed 2-0. Speaking of physical hockey, one of the exponents of that, Alan May of the Caps, is alongside Bill Clement.
Well, Mike, that has pretty well been the story for the Caps in this series, physical hockey, and even tonight in the first period, Alan, you have dominated physically, and you're winning the battles, and yet the war seems to be slipping away from you again, but that's been the story in the series.
Yeah, we've been getting the hits all over the ice, but we're just not getting the puck to the net. We're getting it in the corners, but we're just not getting it to the net, and you're not going to score if you don't get the puck to the net.
Tell me about the frustration level. I talked to a couple of your teammates this morning, and they said to me, what can we do? We're trying everything that we know. We're taking the body to them, and we're doing a lot of things well, and they seemed frustrated. Are you feeling the frustration as well?
Not as much as the goal scorers. You know, I've got my role, and they've got theirs, but, you know, if they're not going to do it, the other guy's got to chip in, and I'm sure, like Jeff Courtnall, he's had some great chances, but you know, he's got to be frustrated. He's had some awfully good chances, even tonight already.
Let's talk about your role a little bit. You led the National Hockey League in fights during the regular season. I'm not sure you could find anybody to dance out there if you wanted to.
You know, every year in the playoffs, it's the same story. Fighting's not going to win anymore in the playoffs, and you've got to be smart with your physical play. You got to be composed, and the Boston Bruins are composed, and they're doing a good job of it.
In your words, what has the difference been in this series so far?
I think the power play. Their power plays scored, it seems, almost every chance, and we haven't. I can't remember when we got a power, if we even got one yet, and it's awfully frustrating to go out there for 2 minutes, and you know, a lot of times we haven't got a shot on net.
Tough job ahead of you. Good luck with it.
Thank you very much.
Alan May of the Washington Caps at the end of the first. They're down by 2. In a moment, Bob Papa will talk to Caps and Bruins about this year's change in the playoff format.
Welcome back to our NHL studios in New York. I'm Bob Papa. After one period at the Cap Center, the Bruins lead the Capitals 2-0. Well, for the first time since 1979, the NHL will expand. The league's Board of Governors approved George and Gordon Gunn's sale of the North Stars to a group headed by former Hartford owner Howard Baldwin. The price tag an estimated $31.5 million. The Gunns will start up the first Bay Area team since 1976, beginning with the 1991-92 season. And let's take a look at the details of the sale. As hockey returns to the Bay Area, Guns begin play 91-92 at the Cow Palace in San Francisco. They're expected to move the team to San Jose, and they'll get some of the minor league players from Minnesota, and also they'll work some things out with expansion picks. Gordon Gunn explains his happiness.
We've had lots of experience, having been in the league, both George 15 years and me almost 13 now. So we bring that experience. We also are involved in another sports franchise, the Cleveland Cavaliers, so we have even more experience in the sports business.
And they'll be trying to get the playoffs. And if the Stanley Cup schedule holds firm and the finals last 7 games, this year's champion will be announced on May 31st. That would be the latest the season has ever ended. But nobody is complaining with the new early round format in which teams were given a day off in between every game. In fact, it has saved several teams.
Up until last year, the first round of the playoffs was 4 games in 5 nights, and it used to just be hell on the trainers, really, because there was no recovery time. You know, if you got any kind of injury, you really had no chance for it to settle down and for that person to come back and play.
They've changed it so that the first round would go to every other day, so there'd be a game, a day off, a game, a day off, and that includes the travel. So it's given us the rest we needed in between games, where it's not compounding our injury problems, in the sense that minor injuries have a chance to get a day's rest and not turn into a major injury.
I think the whole Players Association thought it was a good deal, because you can't play 4 games like that in 5 nights and expect to be, 100%.
Well, I think it was a victory for everyone, because I think the quality of play in the first round was excellent. And also, I'm happy about it because Ray Bork was hurt in the first round, and we'd probably be playing golf right now if we didn't have those days off.
It makes it for a longer playoff, but you just hope that the weather doesn't get too nice, because especially in this building, it gets a little warm.
Cam Neely referring to the Boston Garden. That wraps it up from our New York studios. I'm Bob Papa. Back to the Cap Center for more of the In-Between Period show after this.
From the nation's capital, it's the Prince of Wales Conference Final, Game 4. Series led by the Bruins, 3 games to none. Will they get that hardware tonight? They lead at the end of the first period, 2-0. Observations on the first period with John Davidson.
All right, thanks, Mike. Washington had just 5 shots on goal during that first period. And it's not all offensive play in the offensive zone that creates offense. A lot of it has to do with breaking out of your own zone, creating offensive chances because of it. Here we have Bob Rouse skating back to pick up the puck. And you'll see him clear around here and think about where to move it. As you see Rouse get the puck, there's no pressure on him whatsoever. Now watch what happens after he makes the first pass. He's forced to one side of the ice originally. He moves to his right. As he moves up, he makes the pass. Now if you stop it here, you'll see 1 Bruin, 2 Bruins, 3 Bruins, 4 Bruins. What they have done is forced Bob Rice to come up to this side. Now what that does is cut the ice surface in half for the Bruins. They know where the puck is going to go. It'll be up that side of the ice. The one pass is to Courtnall. Watch him move up. He is hit. The turnover is created, and Boston gets control of the puck. Neutral zone play, breakout plays mean a lot when you want to add to your offense. The Capitals are having problems, as I mentioned, only 5 shots on goal. Boston is doing an excellent job in the neutral zone. They're very well coached. Back to you, Mike.
Washington's had 15 minutes to try to solve these first period problems. We'll see if they make any changes when the second period of our game gets underway after this. Tomorrow, the Blackhawks and the Oilers, live from Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton, Alberta. Chicago, the only repeater in this year's Final Four, will try to get the edge back. We'll have it for you at 9:30 Eastern Time. The 1990 Stanley Cup Playoffs on SportsChannel America, brought to you by Coors Light, the one that won't slow you down, by U.S. Sprint and its new world of telecommunications, by Head & Shoulders, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression, and by Toyota, I love what you do for me.
Teams all set now for the second period. As you look at Andy Moog, like the Caps again in the opening period. Boston leading 2-0, and they'll start the play from deep in their own zone here as Wesley and Bork are teamed up in defense. The Poulin line, Poulin with Burridge and Christian up front. Poulin handling the puck, comes over the line. Plays one around behind Mike Liut. Stevens on the Caps defense to Malte, and he shot it down the ice. Icing is waved off. Glenn Wesley will have to come back for it. Caps send 2 men into forecheck. Wesley steps from back of the net. The Caps peel off. Wesley making the pass to Poulin, now to Bork. Shoots one in around the boards. Coming in after it is Burridge. Can't get around Berglund, however. And here's Pavanka for Washington with a pass just out of the reach of Stevens. Stevens and Bork after it. Raymond Bork carrying it back into his own zone. Up the middle with the pass, and it's offside. Christian handling it at the blue line, had to rehandle it actually, and that put the play offside 50 seconds into the second period.
So the Caps are looking for offense from somebody. There is one of the guys that finished in the top 4 scorers during the regular season. These are the top 4 that are in the lineup for the Caps. And you see that collectively they had 113 goals, 160 assists, 273 points. And as a group, they averaged 3.4 points per game. In this series, check it out. 1 point in 3 games, and that was an assist by Jeff Cordell in Game 3 here 2 nights ago when he assisted on John Druce's power play goal. That is what the problem has been for Terry Murray and his game.
And amplified by the fact that only 4 goals in 3 games in this series. Nothing in the first period again tonight. Only 5 shots on goal. Didn't have a shot, as you pointed out, when they had the man advantage. Their only power play in the period. Terry Murray saying this morning, too fine, overhandling the puck. All the problems they know about, they're still there.
You know, the Bruins didn't have, I don't think, a strong first period. I mean, they outscored the Caps 2-0, but I got a feeling Mike Milbury might have ripped into them in the room between periods. I mean, their gap was wider. There's space between the defensemen and the forwards. They didn't seem to have the enthusiasm that the Caps had. They got the lead.
And Carpenter with the puck now with a pass to Galley, and his shot went wide of the net. Caps trying to come back. John Druce is checked at center ice, and it's steered right back in, right to Mike Liut. Now Neil Sheehy, who missed the last 2 games in the series, dumps it in. Sheehy inserted in the lineup here tonight. Kleinendorf's removed from the lineup. The other Washington defenseman who's sort of been in and out. This is Bob Gould down the right side. He's getting a chance to play tonight. Peter Duras not in the lineup for the Boston Bruins. Greg Janney in off the left wing, trying to get the puck deeper into the corner, and Gould got rubbed out. Now Dale Hunter clears the zone for the Washington Caps, and back goes Bork. Bork plays one up the left side, out into center off prop, and it's loose in the Washington zone. The off day yesterday, some of the Bruins skated. There was a team meeting, and the main attraction at the team meeting was a videotape of Game 4 of the series between the Bruins and the Montreal Canadiens. They all watched it. They all saw their mistakes, all realized how complacent they were, how they had approached Game 4, and to a man vowed they wouldn't let it happen tonight. They have a 2-0 lead over the Washington Capitals. Caps led by Ridley, step over the line. Ridley can't get through the defensive work of Bork, however. And down the left side comes Prop, 2-on-1. Neely with him. Stevens backing in, breaks up the pass. Scott Stevens kicks the puck. Now gets it on the stick and dumps it through center ice. Peterson moves it right back in again. Stevens with it, back of the net. He and Rouse, the defense combination, the Ridley line. Ridley, Miller, and Leach up front. Long pass, partially intercepted, and now Leach dumps it through center, and the Bruins tighten up at the blue line. Here's Alan Peterson. Got it in wide, comes off the boards for Leach. Trying to knock it away from Burridge, plays it around the opposite direction. Beers holds it at the right point. Beers passes one in front to Poulin. Can't get the backhander away as Rouse knocked him off his skate. Now Leach has trouble handling it. Here's Burridge. Andy Burridge lowers the shoulder, but can't get around Stevens. Centers one, Wesley in deep. Carries it back of the net. Can't get it to Christian, who cruised in off left wing, however. And the Caps move out of the zone. Pavanka with a pass here to Miller. Miller to Pavanka, trying to cut in. Steers it on target. That's tipped aside by Andy Moog. Burridge dumps the puck out through center as the Bruins come back, only to be turned aside by Langway, and he shot it off Malte. Malte dumps one in. Moog watches it go to the corner. Ashley with it. It's kicked right out in front off Peterson, but Carter coming back helps up. The backhanded by Berglund is blocked. In and out of the goal mouth with Moog down, and they can't do any business. Best scoring chance the Caps have had in this game, and one of few that they've had in the series. Now we've got an injury back of the play. The defenseman Beers is injured. 16:07 the time remaining in this second period, and the Boston training staff coming out to attend to Bob Beers.
He's in a lot of trouble. Tim Berglund took him low after he had moved the puck. I don't even know if he saw him coming, but you can see that Bob Beers is in a lot of pain, and it's from the waist down. This is not an injury of the elbow or of the shoulder. Berglund has been assessed a tripping penalty. First thing you think of is knee. Yeah, that looks like what is being examined.
The young defenseman who has played so well for the Bruins. First grab for the knee, and that's not a good sign. Boston trainer attending to him is Jim Derrigan. Dale Hunter standing watching. Some concern at the Boston bench, quite naturally.
Well, the Bruins had to know that the Caps were going to, especially tonight, facing elimination, follow through with their checks. There's Beers right on the face-off dot to the right. He moved the puck. Oh, yeah, and then Berglund got the knee into him, and up he went. They collided knee to knee. Down went Bob Beers. But this is what following through on your checks is all about. When the guy passes the puck, don't turn away and follow the puck. Continue in the motion towards the hit, and that's what Berglund did.
Berglund has gone to the penalty box with a tripping call 3 minutes and 53 seconds into the second period. It'll be the second Boston power play of the game. Late in the first period, Neely scored a power play goal to make it 2-0 in favor of the Bruins. Terry Murray's concern here is the length of time it's taking to attend to the Boston player. He'd like to get the momentum going again. His team has started to pick it up a little bit. This is not a positive move for the Caps at the moment.
No, there's Berglund. You know, before Beers got hit by Berglund, he had dished out a couple of big hits in this game, including one almost right before. Or at least Berglund before he hit Beers. Took out Wesley, so he's on a mission. They all are. I mean, you know, you can say what you want about how the breaks have gone against the Caps and how they have won a lot of the battles but are losing the war. The game of elimination is the hardest one to win.
Bob Beers placed on a gurney now, and will be taken to the Washington dressing room, it appears, to be attended to by the Caps medical staff, the Bruins medical staff here as well. He's in good hands. Cheektowaga, New York, and is being carried from the ice surface here at the Cap Center at Landover, Maryland. Bob Beers safely in the dressing room, but now Mike Milbury with a problem that reduces his defense combinations.
Yeah, that's one of the good things about having a guy like Greg Hogwood in the lineup, though. He's got Mr. Utility. He's a little guy who wears number 38 for the Bruins. And if Mike Milbury's defensemen end up getting worn down, or if he can't go with 5, but I think he can, especially because games are played every second night, and he's got a guy that's going to suck up 30 minutes of ice time by himself, and that's Ray Bourque. But if he needs a 6th, that's one of the advantages of having his utility guy in the lineup, Greg Hogwood.
Now on the power play, the Boston Bruins send out Janney, Neely, and Prop, with Wesley and Bourque on the points. Killing it off for the Washington Caps, Ridley and Miller up front. They have Rouse and Langway on defense. Puck cleared into the Boston zone, will be picked up by Glenn Wesley. Wesley comes to the blue line, then on through center ice before dumping it in. That's high over the glass and out of play. Mike Milbury, in a discussion this morning, was asked about the pursuit of the Stanley Cup, and is there a difference between being a player trying to win the Stanley Cup and a coach trying to win it? He said, no, but really there's a little frustration because you know that you're limited in what you can do as a coach. As a player, you feel that you can go out and do a little bit more, but as a coach, you're limited, and hope that the guys understand what it is collectively that I've been preaching all year long.
Yeah, you win as a player sometimes from the waist down with the legs, and you win as a coach from the neck up.
I've really been impressed with Mike Milbury and all the Bruins, for that matter. What a workmanlike approach to the job they've brought to this series. Now up 2-0. They have the power play working in the Washington end of the ice. Neely makes the pass, only to have it intercepted and cleared down the ice by Ridley. Gold comes out of the net, giving it to Glenn Wesley. Wesley zigzagging with Bork. Carries it over the Washington line, then dumps it toward the corner. Rouse gets to it. Plays it away from Neely, but right to Craig Janney. Back it goes to Wesley, now to Bork. Bork sets up at the point, feeds it back. This is Wesley. Centered one in front. Prop shot is blocked by Liut. Liut cutting to the left side. Able to get in front of that. Bruins with it again at center. Prop drops it back into Bork.
It's a perfect setup, though. If you can pull that one guy on the box on the far side high enough, you get it over the blue line to your defense partner, then there's a seam. If that top defensive guy in the box doesn't collapse back in there very quickly, and the Bruins executed it perfectly. Prop got a good shot away.
Sure did. Now Burridge is jacked at the line. And Murray dumps it down into the Boston zone. In after it is Druce. Make a sandwich of him as Burridge on one side and Galley on the other. Knocked him off the puck. Murray drops it back. Long shot from Stevens. Kicked out by goaltender Andy Moog. And the rebound finds its way to the stick of Ray Bork. Now to Burridge. Up the right side to Christian. Christian trying to cut in. Lets it go, and it was blocked by Stevens. Christian puts it on the stick of Burridge. Walks out of the corner with a shot. Right into the pads of Mike Liut, and there's no further play. 2 seconds remaining in the penalty against Berglund. Liut has been tested a couple of times on this Boston power play.
Pretty good decision by Randy Burridge. You see the support that the Bruins had in the corner. They had 2 guys on the puck. There was only 1 cap there. And when Burridge got the puck, all he did was try to dash to the front for a quick shot. You know, that's the Caps game. We haven't seen much of that, but that's how the Capitals win hockey games, with plays very similar to the one that Randy Burridge made. The Bruins have kept them away from that low game.
In game 3 in this series here the other night, we talked about how cold it was in the Cap Center. How cold is it tonight? We thought we were kidding. At 7:30 game time, 62 degrees on our thermometer.
Got the double T-shirt on tonight, Jakes? It was cold here. It was cold, even in our box.
Laundry didn't get back in time. Caps trying to clear it out, could not. Galley put one in front. That's broken up, and now the teams are at 6 aside. And Berglund at center ice backhands it into the Boston zone. To Gary Galley. Dropped it off the boards. Not Stevens. Moved it up to Hunter, to Berglund off left wing. Fanned on the shot, and now Poulin is able to clear the zone.
If you wait too long against the Bruins, boy, it goes away quickly. Berglund had a chance to shoot. He wanted to get into a more dangerous zone, so he moved closer to Sweeney, and he took his shot away. That has been a story for the Caps as well. They try and take one more stride, make one more pass, and that's what Terry Murray has tried to get them away from.
Now they're over the line again. Stevens, Courtnall was with him, but very tight. Nowhere to go with the pass, and the shot went wide. You see the Bruins picking it up deep in their own zone. That's Gary Galley. Shot it off the boards ahead of Poulin. Stevens leaves it at center ice. And Bob Gould comes over the line. Gould goes to the corner. Rounds the net. Gould, playing on a sore knee, is given the puck to John Carter. Carter off the boards, goes to the backhand, gets tripped up, play allowed to continue. Ivanka runs into Peterson, and the puck ends up in the opposite corner. Ellie Johansson nudges it ahead, and May works it out through center. Here's a 2-on-1 for the Caps. Courtnall holds it, shoots, just shot it wide. Again, a little too fine. Couldn't get it on the net. Ellie Johansson back in his own zone. Throws it up to Michael Pavanka. He and Malte over the line together. Malte couldn't handle the pass. May goes to the corner for it. Gave it to Steve Malte, and Hoggood pins him on the board. Now Ray Bork knocks it loose. Held in at the point by Painter, and his shot goes over the glass and on up into the seats. 12 minutes and 26 seconds remaining in the second period. The Boston Bruins maintaining a 2-0 lead. Candidate to be Coach of the Year in the National Hockey League, that's Mike Milbury. The others, of course, also first-year coaches with their respective teams. Bob Murdoch at Winnipeg, Roger Nielsen with the Rangers, and Terry Murray, the Washington Capitals. Hasn't been here that long, but I'm sure if his team improves next season, as everybody expects it to, he'll be a candidate. Numbers not too impressive, what you just saw there, though, are they? Just cannot score any goals. 12 minutes and 26 seconds remaining here in the second period. One thing to keep in mind, though, this Washington team over the years has never been swept in a playoff series. They're down 3 games to none, down 2 goals to none in tonight's game. Painter has shot the puck in following the draw. Leslie put it back in the net, and it's Bork playing it up the boards out of the zone. Painter trying to take it away. If not, and the Bruins come over the line. Here's Carter with a drive, just wide of Liut on the glove side. Nick Kiprios dumps it out of the zone for the Caps. Bruins tighten up in the center ice area. Wesley giving it to Bork. Bork spotting Carter moving up the left side, but that pass went off May, and Liut works it around to Painter. Painter trying the left wing boards over lead Kyprios. Bailey drops it back in. Bruins fail to clear it out. Here's Kyprios with a shot that was off the target. Bruins turn the puck over. Caps don't capitalize. And quickly, Sheehy sends his man up the middle. This is Ridley over the blue line. Kyprios cuts to the left side. Ridley shot off the pads of Moog. Leach was there, but absolutely no rebound to be had. Now from the blue line, Sheehy with a shot that changes direction, and Cam Neely controls the puck over on right wing. Long pass just out of the reach of Janney. Janney in the Washington zone gets turned around, and now play is called on an offside. 11-12 remaining in the second period as we pause for a regional break. Sports Channel America's coverage of the Wales Conference Championship Series will continue in a moment. Well, up top, we mentioned a moment ago, the Caps have never been swept in 12 previous playoff series. All of this can change tonight, Bill.
Yeah, it sure can. The Bruins' last playoff sweep, you can see 1979, but I wonder when the last time is the Caps have been this big an underdog in a series. They're the second biggest underdog so far this year in the playoffs, and they will be the second biggest underdog no matter what happens in the final matchups. The LA Kings finished 24 points behind the Calgary Flames. They were the #1 underdog this year, and the #2 underdog right here. The Caps finished 23 points behind the Bruins, and they don't have Hatcher, and they don't have Cicerelli.
Yeah, that has really put them in a bad position. Boston does have Andy Moog, and talking to some of the Bruins and looking ahead a little bit, I guess, talking about the difference between this team and the team of '88 that went to the Stanley Cup final, they pointed to Andy Moog. They said goaltending is much, much better. My way of thinking, their third and fourth lines are a lot stronger perhaps than their third and fourth lines of '88.
Yep.
But they still have to get through this one in order to advance, albeit up 2-0. And Moog playing with all the confidence in the world. The puck comes back to Stevens. His long shot is wide of Moog. Hunter gets to it. Dale Hunter centers off Moog, off Bork as well. Courtnall tries to work it out of the corner. And back along the boards, and here's Christian. His pass to Poulin, tips it into center ice for Randy Burridge. Burridge slaps it around the boards. Druce over on the far side, clears the zone. But coming back quickly for the Bruins is Gary Galley. He's given it to Wesley. Now at the center, his pass picked up, but there was nowhere for Druce to go as Hunter had been trapped inside the Boston zone. So the Caps set up again inside their own territory. Failed to clear it out of the line, out over the line, however. Burridge moves in, trying to center one to Christian. That was picked off by Druce. Now Wesley is shot from the point off the catching glove of Liut. Galley kicks it in toward the corner. Washington Capitals clear the zone, but right to Glenn Wesley, and he shot it in off the glass. Bruins go for a player change, and on the change, Byers gets out and into the play quickly and held it at the line, then dumped it in. It comes right through in front. Back to Wesley for a shot. That changed direction. A backhander from Hoggood misses. Now Byers rounds the net. Looks for somebody in front. Centers. It's picked off by Liut. He covers and holds on as Hoggood drove right to the net along with Byers, but no rebound to be had. 9 minutes and 46 seconds remaining in the second period. Little scuffling. Nothing too serious develops, and with the score, the Bruins 2, Caps nothing. Let's pause for a regional break. Sports Channel America's coverage of the Wales Conference Championship round will continue following these messages. The face-off coming in the circle to the left of Mike Liut. 9 minutes and 46 seconds remaining in the second period at the Capitol Center in Landover. Bruins leading by a score of 2-0. Bob Sweeney on the draw. The puck knocked away from him, and Painter has cleared the zone for the Caps. May running a little interference on Galley. That allowed Kyprios to get over the line. He's given it to May. The centering pass picked off, and Gary Galley spins it ahead to Hoggood. He goes to the right side, and coming back is Kyprios. Kyprios left it in the corner. Painter trying to play it off the boards. It's held now by Galley. Starts in with it. The puck up on edge as he shoots one, and it's cleared aside by Liut. Alan May works it out to center. Wesley right on it in a hurry. Again, it's up on edge as it's fired high and wide. And Sheehy handles it back to the Washington goal. The pass to May. May has given it to Murray. Got it to Kyprios at the line. Back to Murray. In and out of some traffic, and then his shot is blocked. Ray Bork works it up through center ice. This Here's Rouse with a pass to Miller. Back to Rouse. Over to Stevens. Stevens banks one off Janney's skates. Janney recovers.
You know, it's a shame for Terry Murray. His line of overachievers and the guys that have played positionally and forechecking wise was probably better than any line in the Caps. Murray, May, and Kyprios are a line that just can't finish. They haven't scored a playoff goal. Collectively, they scored 14 in the regular season. But boy, they sure have played with a lot of heart and have been an aggressive unit out there. They've had their chances. They just haven't scored.
And Scott Stevens just laid a big hit on Janney as Neely breaks in and is shot off Liut. Stevens is hurting again. He's dropped his left shoulder. But now stays in the play, handles the puck. Can he do anything with only one hand? Stevens lets the shot go, and it's turned aside by Moe. Maybe that 10-second hurt factor is all that was bothering Scott Stevens after the collision with Janney. He stays on the ice, but it's Neely picking up the puck and shooting it out of there. Now Stevens will get a rest, but he's going to go right to the Washington dressing room. And with the score, the Boston Bruins 2, the Washington Capitals nothing. The Caps may have even more serious problems ahead of them in an effort to get back in here. John Davidson is standing just outside the Boston dressing room. Let's go down to that area and get an update. John?
For the injury update to Bob Beers, it appears to be a possible fracture just above his right knee. There's a lot of internal bleeding going on there right now, a huge swelling area. What they're going to do is send Bob Beers to the hospital at Sibley Hospital. It's about a 30-minute drive by ambulance. A lot of concern in the Boston Bruin camp.
All right, John, that is a shame. The young man who played one season at Northern Arizona, then the last 3 at Maine before turning pro. Not good news. Courtnall gets taken down as he drove to the net. The play coming back was Wesley. In the meantime, Carter carries it into the Washington zone. Carter turns it over to John Druce. Druce with a pass up the right side to Courtnall. Wesley pulls up. Courtnall, a pass to Druce, and that's broken up by the Boston defense.
Perfect example of a time to shoot that Terry Murray said we got to shoot. Had Druce going to the net for a rebound. Courtnall's got the big cannon anyway. Pass.
Now, there's something going on there. He hasn't shot very much in this series, and when he does, it's been so fine he's missed the net on most of them. Caps have dumped the puck in. Bork going behind the net. Dishes it toward the corner for Peterson. He goes up the right wing boards with that feed, and Christian failed to clear the zone. Pavanka holds it. Centered one off Berglund. Painter there as well, but he can't handle the puck. Brought out by Dave Christian of the the Boston Bruins. Working back in December here with the change of number. Of course, Bob Joyce, who he came over for in the trade, not in the lineup tonight for Washington. Loose puck in front of that Washington goal. Burridge can't center in time for Dave Christian, and Bork has it at center ice. Ray Bork to Dave Christian, now to Burridge, has Poulin with him. Burridge got knocked down. Poulin picks up the puck. Trying to play it around Rouse. Go behind the net, but Pavanka gets to it now with a feed up the right wing boards for Berglund. 3 Bruins back in the center ice zone, forcing Berglund to dump it in. Now it comes loose on the right wing and controlled by Don Sweeney. Can't get it to Bob Sweeney. They are not related, by the way. Murray is over the line for the Washington Caps with the pass out of the reach of Malte. Andy Moe gets trapped back of the net. The puck comes to the side of the goal, and Murray can't get it to lie down in time to shoot it. Now Murray is on it again. Spins one toward the front of the net, and that's cleared by Christian. Held in. Johansson with a shot just wide of Moog. Andy Moog had been shaken up. A collision in the goal mouth. Putting his catching glove up along the side of his head a couple of times here to try and get the referee's attention.
He took a stick up high. It looked like Rob Murray was in the crease. He might have even gotten clipped in his face mask with a stick.
Now May gets to the puck deep in the Boston zone. Didn't put it on the stick of his teammate Murray. Murray gets to it in the far corner. Looks for somebody in front. Kyprios goes to the corner to help out. Back to Murray. Here's this line again. Murray, May, and Kyprios making things happen, but not able to finish. And the Bruins start out. Burridge comes to center ice and dumps it down.
It seems like you can only get close against the Bruins. You can never get the cigar and light it up. I mean, so many times the Caps have gotten right to the doorstep, but then the play disappears. That middle lane is a lane that the Bruins defend right now as well as anybody in hockey. There are basically 3 lanes, one on each side and one down the center. But how many great Cap scoring chances in this series have come from the middle lane, have come from right in front of Andy Moe? Not many.
None. Practically 0. Ridley shooting from the point. That's wide. Kyprios works it back to the goal intended for Leach. He's unable to get a stick on it. Galley was on him in a hurry. And now they feed the blue line for Bob Rouse. In around the boards for Leach. Puts his head down. Centers. He scores! we do find a way to bring out the best in people. Nick Kypreos will get the goal, Bill.
One of the overachievers, but he's out there with Leach and Ridley. Kelly Miller isn't out there with his line on this one. Terry Murray left Kypreos out there. Ridley made a nice play. Good work along the boards. And then, you know that middle lane we talked about? Guess where the goal came from? One of the few breakdowns in this entire series. Right in the middle lane. Nick Kypreos swung around and came in. Wesley shouldn't have pinched in behind there, number 26 of the Bruins. As soon as he did, that left Kypreos wide open to beat Andy Moog. And when you make that pass from behind out to front, you can't stop it because it ends up right on a guy's stick and you haven't even got a chance to set up.
2-1 is the score now. Kypreos first in the Stanley Cup playoffs at 15:32 of the second period. Well, this gives the Caps new life. Certainly it's brought the crowd back into the game. Langway back into his own zone. Can't get it to Hunter in time. Carter over on right wing. Checked by Hunter. Langway tying up Gould. And the puck, it appears. Hunter right there has a hold of Carter's stick, but the puck has been pinned on the boards long enough to get a whistle. Little jostling, but nothing too serious late in the period.
Well, this attack was generated from down low. It is something the Caps have tried to get going in the series. They haven't been able to. And you know the guy that passed it out was Steve Leach. Jakes, he has played a strong series, physically dominant. I don't think I've ever seen Steve Leach hit the way he has hit. That time he made the pass to set up the guy you see celebrating, Nick Kypreos.
And almost 3 entire games without an even strength goal for Washington. They had one in game 1, nothing. Shot out in game 2. And only that one goal on the power play in game 3 here on Monday night. But the score is Boston 2, Washington 1. Still a little less than 4 minutes to play in the second period. Bob Gould holds the puck in for the Boston Bruins. Trying to center it. Could not. And Rouse moves it up the right side for John Druce. Druce with a lead pass. Courtnall over the line. Cuts in off right wing. Shoots just wide of Andy Moog. Again, a little fine. Courtnall with Druce tight on the right wing boards, and the puck ends up in the corner. Wesley gets tied up. Here's Hunter centering one into the slot. Nothing doing this time, and back go the Caps. Johansson waits for his teammates to come back. Set it up to Courtnall. He's tipped it to the Boston line, but Wesley gets over in a hurry, and the Bruins just guided down into the Washington zone. Boston in the middle of a player change. Caps go to the left side, and 3 men strung out there, and just elected dump the puck in wide of Andy Moog. Ray Bourque gets back for it. Long pass intended for Burridge. Skitters on into the Washington end of the ice. Liut held it up momentarily for Johansson. He banks it off the right wing boards, but couldn't get it to Berglund cleanly. Now it's Al Peterson for Boston. To the right side for Christian, and his shot goes off Johansson and way up into the seat. Clock stopped with 2 minutes and 51 seconds remaining in the second period. Boston holding on to a lead. The report from the Boston dressing room, a fracture just above the right knee. Bob Beers being taken to the ambulance just moments ago. The drive, as John Davidson reported, of about a half hour between here and Sibley Hospital.
Boy, what a shame. We sure wish him well. You know, your first year in the playoffs, your first year with the crack of the Stanley Cup. It's like a dream, and now it appears for Bob Beers as if the dream may have ended.
A second team All-Star All-American his final year. University of Maine. And then, of course, to the Maine Mariners of the American Hockey League, Boston's farm team. And now to the big club. What a shame. 2 minutes and 48 seconds left. That goal by this Washington team really brought our thermometer up. It's almost 70 degrees. That's up 8.
You get 18,000 people at 98.6. That's going to do it as well. Great May facility, though. Hockey has never been played here in the month of May, and boy, this building is really under control. No players have complained about the ice. You can see that the temperature is certainly adequate. These players are actually used to, even during the regular season, playing in buildings many times which are hotter than this.
And in a discussion the other day where we were talking about this multi-purpose building, and the Georgetown team plays here basketball, John Thompson wants the building at 76 degrees. It can't be any colder, any warmer. Constant 76 for hockey in May. It's got to be colder, as we've shown you. And now the Caps seem to have things warmed up a little bit. Trailing 2-1. Berglund with the puck at center ice, trying to move over the line on Don Sweeney's side of the ice. Shoots just wide. It comes back to Pavanka. Pavanka dumps it back to the net. Bruins get to it. Don Sweeney takes a hard hit. Most of the collision, however, with the glass, delivered by Malte. And Painter goes back to touch up. That's an icing call against the Bruins. 2 minutes and 1 second remaining. Period number 2 in the middle of your picture. John Druce, who's been the scoring machine for the Caps, leads all playoff goal scorers with 14.
And yet Terry Murray is still walking up and down behind his bench, and you know that he's looking back and forth saying, who can I tap? And who can I tap to be a hero here in Game 4?
Well, it might be the young man that you had join you on the first intermission, Alan May.
Well, he's one of those overachievers, isn't he? With Murray and with Nick Kypreos.
No, he played his first game of hockey in the Northwest Territories. Alan May met his mom and dad last night. His dad was working there as a construction supervisor. He first put the skates on. Now they live in Edmonton. Ridley dumping the puck in around the boards. Moog leaves it back of the net. And Gary Galley plays it up right wing. Bob Sweeney moves it on towards center, but the Caps tighten up at that point. Rouse with a pass to Miller, dumps it in. Galley with it, just feeds it right back out again. Rouse couldn't handle it. Bobby Carpenter does. Got knocked off the puck by Leach. Good following through, spun one out of the reach of Bob Sweeney, and back come the Caps. Ridley with it. He's met by Don Sweeney. Bob Sweeney is taken to the boards with a heavy check from Leach. And the Bruins force the Caps back. Bob Rouse will get to it. Rouse goes to the left side with that pass. Picked up and brought over the line by Johansson. He passed it behind Miller, however, and the Bruins just quickly carried it out of the zone. Lyndon Byers down left wing, got tripped up by Ridley. Play allowed to continue. Here's Sheehy. Neil Sheehy banks one off the glass, and a two-line pass is called. Druce, who had just stepped out of the Washington players bench, put a stick on it, making it the offside pass. There's John Druce. Druce has a routine when it comes to getting on the ice. In every game, he has to be in a certain position coming out of that dressing room, yells at a former junior teammate, they yell back at one another, and then it's time, Ian Murray, and then it's time to play the game.
It's incredible, isn't it, that in 14 playoff games as a pro coming into this year's playoffs, 13 in the American League, and 1 for the Washington Caps, John Druce had never scored a playoff goal.
Boy, that is amazing.
As a pro in any league.
Every year there's somebody emerges as a goal-scoring machine. Think of Chris Contos last season, Los Angeles Kings in the series against Edmonton, and then only to be eliminated by Calgary. It was Contos, and he didn't make the LA team at the beginning of this season. He was around for a few games in the playoffs before they were eliminated this year by Edmonton. Final 30 seconds of the second period ticking off here as Wesley banks the puck around the boards in the Boston zone. Play is called. Delayed offside being called back. There's the former teammate, number 23, Mr. Murray.
Rob Murray and John Druce played junior together in Peterborough. Boy, that organization has turned out so many good defensive hockey players. I mean, that's how they win in Peterborough, but the list is so long. I mean, Bob Gainey played there, and Doug Jarvis and Doug Risebrough. But, you know, John Druce, Terry Murray was asked if he thought that John Druce was another Chris Contos, and he said, well, I don't know yet. He said, I know he's at least phase 1 of the Contos story because he's scoring in the playoffs. But he said, I have to wait till next training camp to see if he can continue to play the way he is in the playoffs. I mean, he said, I hope he's not another Chris Contos because Chris wasn't able to stick with the Kings in the regular season at the beginning of this year after a great playoffs last year.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. Of course, there's still some time before training camp. I would think maybe a raise for John Druce. Bork over on the right side, centers one wide. Poulin picks it up deep in the Washington zone, put it in front. Burridge well covered on the play, and here's Langway. Now to Hunter, tipped it back. Portnall comes through center ice, stepped over the line. The time is a factor here, and the horn ends period number 2.
Well, the Caps have their work cut out for them, but you can't imagine what a lift they have to be feeling right now with Kypreos scoring that goal. 2-1 is so much better for the Caps than 2-0. You can't imagine. They've got a chance now.
Those are the numbers at the end of 2 periods of play. It's the Boston Bruins 2, the Washington Capitals 1 as we pause for a regional break.
Here again at the Cap Center in Landover, Maryland, at the end of 2 periods of play, the Boston Bruins 2, the Washington Capitals 1. Boston had 2 goals in the first period of play. John Carter scoring in the first minute, and nearly at the last minute it was Cam Neely. Neely's was on a power play. In the second period, just 1 goal, but that's the one that means so much to the Caps right now. Nick Kypreos from Ridley and Leach, Kypreos' first ever Stanley Cup goal at 15:32. Only a half a dozen shots apiece to the two teams in the second period. Boston with the advantage in the two-period shot totals at 15-11. Closer look at that second period now, and here's John Davidson.
Thanks, Mike. Let's talk about the Capitals' old-fashioned hockey as Terry Murray talked about it. He said he wanted old-fashioned hockey in tonight's game, and on the Capital goal, you pretty well saw it. It started with a smart dump in by the Capitals. You'll see the Capitals move in here, and it's a 2-on-2 situation, so the smart play is to dump it in, but dump it in so their team can recover. You'll see it here, the 2-on-2 and the dump in. And you see the Caps get to the puck immediately. Now they start the board work. And board work is so important as the puck is moved around to the corner here. We'll see, and we stop it, a 2-on-2 situation. Now, board work does not work unless you can out-muscle the opposition player. The puck is in there. Watch Ridley go to work to get the puck back to his defense partner. You'll see him battle in the corner, work the boards, push off from the boards, and move it back. Now, the defenseman has no shot to move it across to the open man or across to his partner, so he does what the Caps do a lot of. He dumps it back in. And once again, you'll see the Caps continue to work the boards. Look at those Cap players get back up on their skates, get back into play. Stephen Leach makes the play by getting to the puck, out to Kypreos. He reaches to the backhand, and the Capitals score their only goal of this game.
We'll be going back to our New York studios and Bob Papa when our coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs on Sports Channel America continues after these words.
Welcome back to our NHL studios in New York. I'm Bob Papa. 2 periods complete in Landover, Maryland. Boston leads Washington 2-1. Well, the Edmonton Oilers series with Chicago is tied at 2 games apiece following last night's 4-2 win by Edmonton in Chicago. Not only did the Oilers get even, but they got mad as well. During the third period of last night's contest, Jocelyn Lemieux takes a run at Oiler goalie Bill Ranford. Ranford was okay. He remained in the game. Edmonton co-coach Ted Green says the Blackhawks have now sparked the Oilers.
The thing that we have going for us now is that we didn't have for the first 3 games, that we have the intensity in the hockey club throughout the 20 players involved. We have the emotion there again. We have a little bit of hate going for us again. In the Winnipeg series, the thing that galvanized the team was disliking certain people in the other club. Things like Lemieux did to Billy Ranford helps galvanize our hockey club.
That series bubbling over. You will see Game 5 of the Campbell Conference Finals right here on Sports Channel America tomorrow evening, Thursday night at 9:30 Eastern Time from the Northlands Coliseum. Back with more from our NHL studios after this timeout. Welcome back to New York. I'm Bob Papa. The NBA playoffs continue this evening. Game number 2 of the Eastern Conference semifinals, and right now in the third quarter of play, Philadelphia leads Chicago by 7, 57-50. Bulls lead the series 1-0. That wraps it up from our New York studios. I'm Bob Papa. Back to the Cap Center in Landover, Maryland with more after this timeout.
From the Capitol Center, this is Prince of Wales Conference Final Game 4. Bruins up in the series 3-0 in the game, 2-1. Here's how the goals have looked and sounded thus far.
Here's Carpenter off the left side, can't get the backhand of the rebound, comes back, they score! John Carter. Come off the puck, they center it back. Hoggood with a shot, just wide of Mike Liu. Bruins with it again. From back of the net, Janney trying to make that play. Puts it behind the goal. Greg Hoggood centers. Needy shoots. He scores! Now they feed the blue line for Bob Rouse. In around the boards for Leach. Puts his head down. Centers. They score!
No third period goals in this series by the Caps. That'll have to change or they are out. Third period action coming up after this. Carter, Neely, Kypreos, the goal scorers. Boston leading 2-1. Third period about to begin. The 1990 Stanley Cup playoffs on Sports Channel America are brought to you by Mercury and the fine line of 1990 Mercury automobiles. See them now at your Lincoln Mercury dealer. By CCM, makers of 651 Tax. Stop by a dealer near you and see how they can turn on your power. By MasterCard. Master the moment with the world's most accepted card. And by Heineken and Amstel Light. America's #1 imported beers. They're the tops.
As we look ahead now to the third period, maybe it's fair to look back. You can see things beginning to change. It's becoming more of a Washington flow in this game, albeit down or up in the series as this Boston team? Things happening?
Well, Terry Murray was more worried about the frustration level in the third period in this game than the first. He told me this morning that if his team is behind, he's worried about the frustration level in the third. But I really think that even strength goal by Nick Kypreos may have offset the frustration levels that the Caps may be experiencing. Nevertheless, they're behind by 1 goal, and they haven't done well in the third period, so they got to move it.
We'll have to see if Scott Stevens returns. One guy that they really miss, Kevin Hatcher, is downstairs with John Davidson.
They certainly do, Jigs. Kevin Hatcher was the best player on either team in the New York Ranger-Washington series. Kevin, first of all, give us an update on your bad knee.
Well, right now I've just been riding the bike lately, trying to maintain strength in my legs, and I'm getting treatments for the last 10 days, trying to get it better, and hopefully we can put together a couple wins so I can get back in the lineup.
Now, with your team facing elimination, you were just in the Capital locker room. Give us the mood of your teammates.
I think the goal Nick Kypreos scored for us really lifted us up. They're saying right now we got 20 minutes left. Let's go out there and do everything we can to win the game. We have nothing to save it for.
All right, thank you, Kevin. Jakes?
All right, John, getting set for this third period. A look at Andy Moog. One thing the Caps have not been able to do in the first 3 games of the series is score on Moog in the third period. They've had 26 shots, no goals. And at the other end of the ice, Cap goaltending has allowed 7 goals on 33 shots in third period play.
Well, the good news for Terry Murray is that Scott Stevens is back out on the ice after leaving in the second period with the shoulder. He is out taking the warm-up skate for the third period, and Mike Melbury is going to have his guys doing what they do best. We are looking at the top defensive hockey team during the regular season in the National Hockey League. They sure are strong when they have the lead.
There is Scott Stevens. Yeah, Boston in the regular season, when they went to the third period with the lead, won 30 games. Only 5 times did they lose, and 4 ended in a tie. And they have been even stronger in the playoffs. Crowd continues to rev up the Washington Capitals. The Bruins 2, the Caps 1 as we get set for the third period. Washington sending out the forward line with May, Murray, and Kypreos. On defense, it'll be Rouse and Stevens for the black-clad Boston Bruins. Poulin is at center ice. Christian is on right wing. Burridge is on the left side. Wesley and Bork, the defense combination. Boston got the draw on Wesley. Can't get it cleanly into the Washington zone. Stevens sends Kypreos down left wing before he dumped it in. Wesley after it. May came in, put a hit on him. Now Burridge plays the puck to Bork. Bork, diving off his skates, is able to play it to the left side. Look at the move by Burridge to get around Johansson. And now Christian with a shot that misses the net. Scott Stevens steps in front of Christian. Around to the left side, played it up ahead, but his teammate is without a stick. And the Caps again have to go back. It's Alan May in an effort to clear it out. A hit Poulin. It bounces to Stevens. Stevens up the middle to Kypreos. Over the line. 3 Bruins back. Trying to get through traffic. He takes 2 men, and the puck goes loose. May back of the net trying to center. Alan May is a knocked away. Painter pinches in from the left point. Gave it to Pavanka. Now to May. May is met by Don Sweeney. The puck goes to the side of the goal and steered back toward the corner by Moog. Bruins move up the right side. Bobby Gould dumps it in. Chasing it is Carter, and going back quickly is Neil Sheehy for the Caps. He drew 2 Bruins and was able to give the puck to Painter. Painter lost it at the blue line. Picks it up again at center ice, shoveled it up the right side, and is dumped on into the zone, only to have Bork get back quickly and clear it out. Played 1 minute and 20 seconds of the third period. Sheehy with a pass up the right side, met heavily with that check with Berglund. And Carter handles the puck here. He scored the opening goal tonight. John Carter dumps it in, then goes for a rest. Painter back for it. Painter gave it to Berglund. Carpenter right on him. Now Sheehy handles the puck again. Berglund and Carpenter continue to push at one another following the play. And the Caps will chase it back into their own zone. Neely in quickly, trying to tie up Malte. Malte able to move it up the boards. The Bruins right on it again. Here's Brian Propp off the boards with a shot that's just wide. Jim Berglund recovers. Propp gets to him, but Sheehy is there. Can't move it out of the zone. Now Janney chased to the corner by Painter. Brian Propp after it. Malte takes him to the boards. It's centered in front, and Neely scores! The Bruins regain the 2-goal lead. Bang, bang play finished off by that man.
What a play by Cam Neely. When you see this goal scored, you'll know what guys are experiencing when they talk about the fact that Cam Neely is never really tied up unless you've got his stick and his arms and everything. He'll be on the left of your screen when the play actually comes across in front of Mike Liut. But good work, good forechecking in the corner. You know, Neil Sheehy was close to Cam Neely, but close isn't good enough when you've got Cam Neely in front of the net. Propp and Janney really worked a give and go and a crisscross well in the corner. And then Brian Propp, look at that, from a kneeling position. And you can see that Sheehy was close. Boy, that doesn't count when you're talking about Cam Neely.
Neely has scored a goal in every game. That's his second of this. Goal in every game in the series. They qualify that. Janney and Propp assisting at the 2:08 mark. So it's Boston 3, Washington 1. Moog holding the puck just outside the goal post. Will get a face-off deep in the Boston end of the ice. Andy Moog in that Boston goal. His team out in front of them now with a 3-1 lead. It holds on. It would be Moog's 40th Stanley Cup playoff win. Bruins getting the draw here. Galley turns in the corner, look toward Christian, plays it to the opposite side off Randy Burridge, and is spun right back to Leach. Got it over the line offside, however, and play is called. Just looking ahead, and maybe we're speculating too much at this point, Bill, but if Boston wins tonight and sweeps this series, they'd have a lot of time before starting the Stanley Cup final. That other series, 2 games each now, has to go at least 6.
Yeah, I guess they'll worry about that tomorrow, but it looks like it could be a long layoff for the Bruins.
Dry here. Johansson fires it in around the boards. Langway goes in after it. Trailing the play was Leach. He ran into his teammate, and the Bruins come up with a puck. Dave Christian gets to center ice. Has Burridge with him as he cuts to that side of the ice. Burridge goes to the opposite direction. Now comes back for the loose puck. And Langway rubs him out. Poulin can't handle it. Miller with a pass to Ridley to the left side to Leach. Had to reach back for it. Gets it on the stick. Shoots. And that hit Gary Galley. Johansson works it around behind the net. This is Dave Christian, and the Bruins just up and through center and on into the Washington zone. It won't go far enough for an icing call. Both teams in the middle of player changes, and Johansson comes up the left side of the ice right in front of the players' benches. Gave it to Druce. Can't get around Bork. Now Hunter pinches in, only to be tied up by Gould, and John Carter makes the pass to Don Sweeney and back to Gould. Gould worked on by Stevens. In to help out is Rouse. Hard pass around to Hunter. Now to John Druce. Druce goes rink wide. Courtnall can't handle it at center ice. Stevens does. He's over the Boston line. The pass behind Druce. It's loose on the far wing and picked up by Bork. Ray Bork looks and then dumps it in. Carter goes in after it. Jeff Courtnall gets to it first. He's given it to Stevens. To Hunter. Dale Hunter trying to pull away from Neely. Hunter is across the Boston line. 2 Bruins go toward him. Hunter ties up the man, but the Bruins get to the puck. This is Janney. Has Neely with him. Up to join the play is Galley. 3-on-3. Neely nudges it back. Turning with it is Galley, and his shot went high. Steve Leach takes it out of the corner. Leach, long pass to Courtnall. Down the left side. Got a step in the fence. He shoots. It hit the outside of the net. Oh, the fans thought it was in. It hit the mesh. And again, the shot not on goal. Back comes Neely leading the Boston attack. Pulls up, looks for Janney. Greg Janney goes to the left wing boards. Langway met by Propp, and Sheehy gathers it in behind the net. Neil Sheehy to Mike Ridley. Ridley over center ice. Now into the Boston zone. Ridley backhands it toward the corner. Miller in after it. Kelly Miller trying to center. Ron Sweeney ties him up. Ridley gets the puck loose. Centered. What a stop by Andy Moog. Rouse in to join the play. Tested Moog from short range.
You got to know the Caps have to have people like Bob Rouse up on the play. So watch for Johansson, Scott Stevens, guys like Bob Rouse to be right in front.
Caps have iced the puck with 14 minutes and 37 seconds remaining in this third period. But Boston is up 3-1.
Well, Jeff Courtnall had a great scoring chance. Remember at the top of the show, he said he wanted to shoot in the middle of the net? Well, he got his chance because Gary Galley couldn't keep up. On the right of your screen is number 28 of the Bruins. Remember, he's got the bad knee. Courtnall from a great spot to shoot from. Creased the outside of the net. He actually missed the post by 6 inches, so he hasn't even followed his own mandate here tonight. He tried to cut that one really fine and didn't shoot it on net.
Now Stevens handles the puck following the face-off. Turning, trying to get away from Bob Sweeney. Stevens in traffic. Finally does get the puck out of the zone. Comes to center. Fires it toward the net. That bounce changed direction, but Moog hung right with it. Giving it to Peterson. Alan Peterson skies one that goes out of play. And they'll face it off just outside the line with the score. The Boston Bruins 3, the Caps 1. Let's pause for a regional break. Sports Channel America's coverage of the will continue in a moment.
In this series, and you can see there isn't a whole lot of it. Ted Sater leads all the coaches with 7 seasons in the NHL.
And both the teams still alive, the Edmonton Oilers and the Chicago Blackhawks, well represented with veteran players Harry Howell representing Edmonton and Jim Pappin, former Toronto Maple Leaf and Chicago Blackhawk, doing the advanced scouting for the Hawks. He puts the puck back at the Boston goal. Johansson pinches in, comes right back to Johansson. He dumps it wide. The open corner, and over quickly is Bork. Up to Carpenter. He's tipped it out towards center ice. Langway can't complete the play there, however. Murray back to help out, but the Caps are still going to have to chase it. Johansson comes out of the corner, moves it up the boards. The Bruins pinch in. It comes right back to Johansson. 2-on-2 at center ice. Crisscross is here with Kyprios. Johansson handles the puck. Now tries a backhander, and Moog is crashed into the net. May went right to the goal mouth. But nothing developed for the Caps. Back come the Bruins. Harry Galley has dumped it in. Stevens back for it. Again, both teams in the middle of changes. Stevens up the middle. Steve Leach just tipped the puck, and the Bruins bring it right back again. Wesley dumps it in. Liut, a little tap dance back of the net, got away from the puck in time for Stevens to play it. Now to Ridley, and he failed to pick it up at center ice. Stevens blocked it, knocked it away from Prop. It's loose at the Boston line, recovered there by Wesley to Galley. Up the middle with the pass to Janney. Janney over the line, fakes once. Found Prop, but couldn't get it to him in time. Janney again. Trying to center a weak pass, picked off by Stevens. Up now to Ridley. Ridley plays it through Prop, gets to it again. Fed Courtnall, he's over the line, can't get around Bork. Ray Bork moves it to right wing. Chasing it is Janney. Neely trailing the play. Janney can't get it to Neely this time, and Leach is able to move it outside the Washington blue line. Backing up with it. Don Sweeney turned it over. Here's Hunter across the line. Hunter checked from behind by Neely. Neely back-checking. Good job. Fans disagreeing, obviously. And now Bork slams one off the boards out through center ice, and Painter will chase it back. Hugh puts it on his stick. The young defenseman plays it to right wing. Bob Rouse couldn't get it to Druce in time. Rouse plays it back into his own zone. Chasing it is Burridge. Over goes Painter. Burridge from back of the net, waiting for somebody to get in front. Centers, and that's tipped by Rouse. Held in at the line. Peterson puts it in front. Poulin with a shot that just missed. Painter takes it back of the net, turned it over. Hit back to Peterson. A drive from the point changes direction. Comes bouncing to the side of the net that is grabbed and held by Mike Liut. The score, the Bruins 3, the Caps 1. Let's pause for a regional break. Sports Channel America's coverage of the Wales Conference Championship Series will continue in a moment.
Just a quick note, remember the injury to Beers. He's out for the game with a fractured leg. Boston is rotating 5 defensemen. If they have to get in trouble with penalties or somebody else gets injured, remember Hoggood could move into that position. He was drafted as a defenseman.
And so far they have protected a 3-1 lead well, getting the third goal early in this period. Neely second of the night from Janney and Prop. Langway keeps the puck in the Boston zone. Hunter tips it. Druce put it in front. Miller couldn't get to it in time. And here is Dave Christian for the Bruins. Worked it out to center. Langway is there. The left side for John Druce. Druce trying to get it across that Boston line. Checked by Burridge, and Christian works it across to Peterson. Out to center and all the way down into the Washington end. Langway will go back to touch up. This will develop into an icing call against the Boston Bruins. 10 minutes and 54 seconds left in the third period. One of the things that Mike Milbury was talking about this morning, Bill, with Andy Moog and his defenseman, is the turnover of the puck, the handling of the puck between the goaltender and the defenseman, and he says he doesn't think anybody in the league does it better than Moog. Somebody asked why, and the one word that came back, communication with his teammates.
That is the entire key. You got to remember, too, that Andy Moog doesn't move the puck very often, so in a sense, you really know that he's going to leave it and dish it off for you.
You know what he did after Game 3? The win here the other night, he moved the puck so well. This was at the end of the game. He has it in his catching glove, points to a young man in a Bruins uniform and a jersey. He's got that sign, Moog. That's the same young man that he signed an autograph for, several autographs at the hotel earlier in the day. What a nice gesture.
Oh, he carries 4 pucks in his glove, though, for situations just like that at the end of the game.
Bring a Moog sign, get a puck, huh? Pivonka in the middle, Malte on the left, Berglund on the right, the forward line for the Caps. That's Carpenter taking the face-off, won by Pivonka, and the shot from the point is blocked, and a break develops at center ice. Carter is over the line, coming in on goal, got tripped up. What a play by Stevens. He knocked the puck away, took the feet out from under Carter, and no penalty. Back comes Pivonka. 3 Bruins back in the center ice zone. The Pivonka's pass gets to Berglund. Tipped it to the corner. Pivonka centers, and Bork was there. To Wesley. He's given it to Gould, and he just does get it inside the Washington territory. Stevens has given it to Sheehy. Now to Berglund. Off the boards to Pivonka. Caps dump it in and go for a player change. The whole far side of the ice opens up, and that's where the Bruins go. Good, dumping it down into the Washington end. Langway back, met there by Byers. And now Leach gets outside the line, comes to center. Courtnall streaking down the left side. The pass back the other direction is stolen. And the Bruins have a 2-on-1. Hoggett is over the line with Byers. Hoggett a drive, and Liut has it, and there's no further play. 9 minutes, 57 seconds. Almost half the third period to play. A 2-goal deficit for the Caps.
A guy who grew up in the province of Alberta, John Davidson, would love you to know the last 7 Stanley Cup finals have featured a team from the Alberta province. Edmonton will try to keep that going tomorrow night at the Northlands Coliseum, but Chicago will have something to say, too. The teams are even at 2 games apiece. We'll have it for you, 9:30 Eastern.
And here, Washington trying to force this series to 5 games. Game 5 would be Friday night at Boston, but they're down by 2. And a little less than 10 minutes to go now in the third period as Painter brings the Caps into the center ice zone with that pass to Druce. Has Miller with him. Couldn't get the puck to him, however. Now Miller goes in after it, only to be picked up by Galley. Back of the net. Here's Druce centering. Hunter scores!
The Bruins rushed right to Denny Morel to complain on this one. And I think their complaint may have been interference against Dale Hunter. Morel has been in the middle of so many controversial calls in this playoff series. I know he's going to be a happy guy when it all ends. But Kent Painter has not played a lot of the second half of this game. He started the play. It was just about offside. And it went to the right side. You know, the Bruins are giving the Caps a big gap now. Space between their defensemen and their forwards. And that's how the Caps got the puck out of their zone. Right around in front to Dale Hunter, and he just slammed it by Andy Moog. Another goal from in low. The 2 goals the Caps have scored tonight have been from this area, down low, and that's where they're at their best.
And Hunter standing right at the top of the goal crease, puts it home at the 10:27 mark. His 4th goal of the playoffs. Druce and Miller get the assists. So that 2-goal lead is down to 1. And again, the crowd backing these Caps, trying to get a tie and take it from there. Janney dumps it in for the Bruins. Chasing it as Prop. Rouse beats him to it. Hunter ran a little interference on Prop. Out come the Capitals. John Druce slaps it around the boards. Chasing it as Miller. Comes to the left wing. Tipped it back to Stevens. Into Miller. Miller trying to play it through Bork. Did, but Bork gets back quickly and plays the opposite side of the ice. That's Bork turning it over. Prop rather to Stevens. Stevens moves it across. Johansson comes to center ice and slams it in around behind that net. Moog got to handle it. Neat little pass to Wesley, but they double team him and knock it loose. Dave Poulin trying to come down the boards. Got it to Neely, and now the Caps have to chase it. Johansson and Langway, the defense combination. Caps play it through center. It's ruled that the Bruins could have played it, so Moog does. Giving it to Peterson. Kiprios in quickly. Comes back to the left point. Here's Langway with a shot. Change direction. Leach got a slap at it and missed. And here's Burridge. Just dumping it out to center ice, only to have Johansson show it right back in again. Peterson tries the left side of the ice. Gary Galley Works it out through center. Langway with Poulin right on him, able to move it up to Leach. Cross ice pass behind Courtnall. Waited for it to arrive. Shoots one right on. Moog the save, and Galley is there to handle the rebound. Up now to Burridge. Drops it back. Poulin feeds it on into the Washington end of the ice. Painter with it behind the net. Plays it away from Burridge. To Leach, who is coming back. Tips it to Ridley. Three Bruins back at center ice. Ridley with a long shot that missed. Carpenter going back. Ridley drops it to the blue line. They hold it in. Courtnall can't get a stick on it, and Burridge has it for Boston, but a delayed offside is being called. The clock stopped with 7 minutes and 31 seconds remaining in the third period.
We'll take another look at the goal that has made this a 3-2 hockey game. The Caps scored it. Good work by John Drusel on the boards. This is where the Caps are at their best. They just haven't been able to engage the Bruins in this kind of battle. Well, it was a holding. Now I finally figured out what the deal was with the arguing. John Carter had his stick held by Drusel on the side of the net when he was trying to get to the guy that passed it out to Dale Hunter. I thought it may have been a Hunter interference penalty, but it was holding. That's what Carter wanted.
The referee, Denny Morrell, said no, the goal stands, and it is 3-2. Boston leading. Now just over 7 minutes to play in the third period. Scott Stevens clears the zone. That's going the length of the ice. Moog does not touch up. Don Sweeney does. We get the whistle on an icing, and a face-off to ensue deep in the Washington zone. 18,130 on hand again tonight. Talk about mobility. Sweeney has it. And Liut, a little shaky at the beginning of the game. A goal at the 53-second mark of the first period seemed to have him off his game.
Yeah, to a degree. But, you know, he was telling us before game 2 up in Boston that he still vividly remembers the day he went to play for his town, Western Ontario. I mean, as a kid at home, as a 5-year-old, he always caught with his right hand and threw with his left hand. He's left-handed. But when he went to play for the team supplied the equipment. And as in so many small towns, they only have catching glove for one hand. And he had to put it on his left hand. He remembers how awkward it felt to try and catch the puck. So he had to learn how to catch with his opposite hand. That's one of the reasons he has to change his stick over in front of him when he decides to shoot, because he started as a 6-year-old with the wrong hand catching.
And at 34 years of age, posted one of his best seasons, regular season in the NHL. Traded over here at the deadline from the Hartford Whalers. Caps controlling the puck. Stevens missed Hunter, but Druce is tight on the right wing boards and dumps it in. Raymond Bourque going after it. Miller comes in along with Hunter and Stevens flooding the left side of the ice, but the Bruins get a break. Here's Janney over the line. Janney pulls up, makes the pass, just out of the reach of Propp. Ryan Propp plays it in deep. Janney waits back to the net. Knocked off his stick. Kelly Miller goes to the corner for it. Miller lost it. Picks it up again and starts out. Miller down the left side. Druce cuts to that wing as Miller dumps it in. Oh, got to play it around the glass. In comes Rouse. It's held at the line, but they rule Ridley brought it back in offside, so play is called. 6 minutes and 11 seconds remaining in the third period. Is there some magic left for Terry Murray and the Caps?
Well, there certainly is more room, and I talked about the gap. The gap is the space between the defenseman and the forwards, and when the Bruins are on the attack, part of the defenseman's brain is telling him to get up on the play and stay tight so there's no gap there to try and to give the Caps an opportunity to counterattack, because that's the space you need to counterattack, the gap space. And Terry Murray's guys now are looking at a bit of gap space. The other side of the Bruins defenseman's brain is saying, look, we got a 1-goal lead. I don't want to let anybody in behind me, so I don't want to get so far up on the play that I might let somebody sneak in behind me. And that's why when you're protecting a lead, it's a coach's nightmare when his defensemen start falling back and not coming up on the play and closing that gap. That's where the counterattack, that transition happens when you're coming back into the defenseman's face.
Now the Caps fail to get it back into the Boston zone. Burridge steps over the Washington blue line and dumped it in. Langway taking it back to the net. Trying to carry it out. Pulls up, then makes the pass up the boards to Ridley, and he dumps it the rest of the way. Holmes tips it to Wesley. Round the boards, in and out of the skates of Rouse, and the Bruins are able to feed it into center ice. This is Langway. Off the boards again to Courtnall. Courtnall shoots it wide. Moog gloved it, dropped it off for Wesley. And Wesley flips it off the glass. It's spun right to Dave Poulin, and he comes to center ice. A feed in the left side to Burridge. Shoots one off Liut and just wide. Dave Christian dumps it back of the net. Rouse with Burridge right on him. Plays it up right wing to Leach. Leach just flips it up in the air. That forces the Bruins to chase it. And it gets the Caps a player change. Pavak into forecheck. Tied up Bork, but he recovers beautifully and is able to clear it out. Hansen snapping it right back in again. Chasing it is Malte. Malte unable to center. Bork ties him up. Left the puck, protected it well. It's stolen. Pavak, a backhander that changed direction. Dave Christian fails to clear the zone. Here's Stevens with a drive. That's blocked. Stevens in after his own rebound. Cruises in even deeper. Goes back of the net. Centers off some skates in front. Pavaka can't get to it in time, and the Bruins clear it out.
Boy, you hardly ever see Ray Bourque leave his feet and go down, and that's what he did on Stevens. That's why Stevens was able to get around him and shovel it out in front.
Here's Hunter trying to break the check. Galley knocked him down. Play is allowed to continue. Loose puck. Druce has it at the Boston line. Dumps it toward the corner. Gary Galley after it. Three Caps in forechecking. Kelly Miller turns on his man. Can't get it in front. Now comes back. Sheehy with a shot off a stick in front. Druce goes round behind the net. Got checked there. Gary Galley plays it to the corner. Sheehy pinching in. Fires one toward the net that's deflected. Comes back to the point for Langway. Into John Druce. Shoots from the line. Change direction. Hunter after it. He puts the lumber on Galley, and there will be a penalty. Hunter is going to the penalty box with a little less than 4 minutes to go in the third period.
Gary Galley is in a lot of trouble. Hunter slashed him, and boy, is he going to pay a big price. The Caps are down a man. Well, Dale Hunter has just taken away something that is very precious to the Washington Caps right now, and that is even strength time. Time to try and make it back. Great action in front. Hunter and Sweeney going at it, and then Hunter around back. You saw that he cuffed Galley with the left hand there, and then Galley came back out. The penalty is for slashing. Gary Galley has finally made it to the bench. But Dale Hunter right here, watch this. That's a two-hand swing right to the forearm of Gary Galley. We talked about pain delay, Jakes. Did you see? There was about a 2-second delay until it registered with Galley that he'd been hit. The message got to the brain. But why a two-hander right there from Dale Hunter, who'd been such an important guy getting away with the rough stuff here in Game 3. 3 minutes and 54 seconds to go. That is not a smart penalty to take at all, especially when you have the Bruins under pressure, especially when you're down 1 goal in this game, especially when you're down 3 games to none in the series.
I really don't understand it. Hunter laying the lumber on Galley. So the Caps have to survive another test as the Bruins will put the power play on the ice. You saw the trainer checking with Gary Galley. You see the concern on Mike Milbury's face. And lots of Bruins fans in the crowd here. They've eliminated. Well, do they have the X through the Caps? Yeah, they do. And of course, Montreal prior to that, and the Hartford Whalers. You look at the similarities. If this Boston team survives this series and goes to the Stanley Cup final, you think back to last year. Calgary, the eventual winner, forced to 7 games to the brink by the Vancouver Canucks. This year, the Hartford Whalers forced Boston. Took that series to 7 games. The Bruins survived and breezed through Montreal and are trying to sweep the Washington Caps. They lead 3-2. A little less than 4 minutes to go, and they have the extra man. Bork has the puck. Ridley into forecheck. Ray Bork puts it back to the net. This is Neely to Bork. Now Propp will pick it up. Plays it around to the open side of the ice. Langway goes over, so does Miller, and the Caps get to it. But it's touched outside the line by Wesley and picked up by Stevens. Stevens flips it right back in. Caps go for a player change. Rouse comes out to join Stevens. Druce and Berglund up front. Wesley with a pass to Bork. Waits outside the line. Back to Wesley, who steps over the line. The play broken up. Here's Druce down the middle of the ice. Bork backing in. Druce holds it, then shoots off the blocker. The rebound is just over the stick of Berglund. Short-handed opportunity for the Caps. Now the Bruins are back over the Washington line. Janney falls as he went to pull up on the play. The puck comes loose. Neely gets bumped. And play is called. We've got another injured Boston Bruins player. This is Janney down on the ice.
You know, he was tangled up with a pair of skates. The Caps defenseman on that side, I guess it was either Rouse or Sheehy. Janney lost his balance and went down, and his face was dangerously close to Sheehy's skates. Yeah, he's feeling the front of his face, his nose, it looks like. I'll tell you what, though, Glenn Wesley took a little gamble at the Caps blue line. Can't do that with no speed. I mean, even when the score is something different than what it is right now, you got to get it in deep once in a while. Wesley pushed a turnover at the blue line, and then after that on this rush, Craig Janney, nice fake stop, but he loses his balance right here. Went down. Oh, it looked like he gave him a swat on the way down.
Here's another look at it. Yeah.
Well, Janney almost fell into his stick, into the shaft of Sheehy's stick.
Craig Janney back at the Boston players bench. 2 minutes and 48 seconds left in the third period. 54 seconds remaining in the Boston power play. The penalty to Hunter. Slashing, putting Washington a man short. Now the Caps sending out Miller and Ridley with Langway and Stevens. The Washington Capitals have to generate something here if they can kill this penalty off. They'll have just a little less than 2 minutes left in regulation. Langway backhands it down the ice. Poulin centering the power play for Washington at the moment. Now the Bruins start out. Christian carries it to center, dumps it in off the boards. Liuk back in the net to handle it. Left it there, and the Bruins flood that zone. Poulin gets to it. Puts it back in the net for Burridge. Langway ties him up. Here's Christian. Dave Christian puts it behind the net. A little too hot for Burridge to handle. Poulin with it now. Into the corner with that pass. Stevens broke it up. Got at the open side of the ice and dumps it out. 15 seconds left in the penalty time. Raymond Bourque parks back in the net. Now brings it out in front. Makes the pass to Burridge. Has Neely moving up with him. Burridge across the line. Little trouble handling a rolling puck. Poulin held it in. Langway knocks it out of the air. They've killed off the penalty, but the puck knocked down with a high stick brings about a whistle. Ridley and Wesley not happy with one another. Ridley being restrained by linesman Kevin Collins. Cooler heads now. And everything is cooled off at this point. 1 minute and 52 seconds left in the third period. Let's recap the series. In game one in Boston with the score tied 3-3, Brian Propp got the game winner. And that game with just over 5 minutes to play. Then in game two, Andy Moog made 27 saves and recording his second shutout of the playoffs, a 3-0 win. And in game three, Craig Janney scored late in the second period, giving Boston what turned out to be the game winner. They paid a price for it, but the Bruins won 4-1, lead the series 3-0, and here tonight are up by a score of 3-2 with 1 minute and 52 seconds to play in regulation time. Caps taking a little time putting their players on the ice. Hunter, who has just served the slashing penalty, is going to be out there with John Druce and Jeff Portnall. Johansson and Stevens will be the defense pairing, and the Bruins will counter with Bobby Carpenter, with Neely and Gould. Carpenter in the middle, Neely on the right, Gould on the left side, Wesley and Bourque the Boston defense. Ward Brossiker, the linesman, will put the puck in play, and it comes right back to Bourque. Dumps it in around the boards. Bruce over on the right side, clears it outside the line. Gould back quickly, dumps it on in. Scott Stevens takes a hit from Neely as he played it to Druce. Up the middle to Dale Hunter as Courtnall breaking down the left side, gave him the puck. Courtnall puts the moves on Bourque, but then can't center it in time. Ray Bourque fails to clear the zone. This is Johansson. Behind the net it goes. Bourque is checked there by Druce. John Druce can't put it in front of the net. Bobby Gould banks one off the boards, and the Caps will have to chase it. See the time ticking down in the corner, top corner of your picture. Stevens from behind the net plays it away from Neely. Up to Ridley. Ridley can't get it to Courtnall. And Ridley back. Lost it to Dave Poulin. Just put it inside the blue line. Johansson feeds it out quickly, and at center ice, Steve Leach has dumped it in for the Caps. Galley goes back. Liut heads for the Washington bench. Caps go with 6 attackers as Leach kept the puck in, but now play is called. They'll face it off outside the blue line, it appears.
Well, what a tough break for the Caps. They had the pressure on. They got Mike Liut cleanly off the ice. But now the faceoff will come outside the Boston blue line. Looks like Terry Murray's going to leave Mike Liut off the ice with 52 seconds to go. And you got to leave him off the ice. He might not get him back out of his net and to the bench if he puts him back in now.
The Bruins have had only 17 shots on goal, but 3 of them got by Mike Liut, and now they're dealing with an empty net, and they'll also deal with a 30-second timeout. The Bruins taking a 30-second timeout.
Yeah, Mike Milbury has to think that his key guys might be a little more tired than Washington's right now. Ray Bourque needed a rest. I think in a nutshell, that's why Mike Milbury has called this timeout. Ray Bourque has not been dominant offensively by any means in this series. He got his first 2 points in the series in Game 3. But defensively, since Game 1, there's been nobody better. And he has played at least 30 minutes at tilt.
Something that we haven't made much of an issue of, and I just now realized that there's been only 5 shots on goal in the 3rd period. 3 by Washington, 2 by Boston.
That's part of the tempo that Terry Murray wanted. There were only 6 shots aside in the 2nd period. You see that the Caps are able to hang in there and get their chances and come close. Well, I'm surprised. Mike Liut is going back in.
He'll stand about 10 feet above the goal crease. You see where he is, right along the hash mark. Now he backs in a little bit. The crowd tries to become the 7th Washington Capital on the ice. But the Bruins dump the puck in. Liut has to scamper back. Does. And so does Calle Johansson. Johansson handling the puck here. 41 seconds, the time remaining. Johansson feeds it up to Courtnall. It went off his stick, and it's the Boston line. The Bruins just turn it back down the ice. The goal empty. Comes into your picture now. Johansson parks behind the net. Time is a factor. Watch it tick down as Ridley dumps the puck in. Moog watches it go off the glass and out of play.
Well, Andy Moog was motioning for a face-off outside the blue line. That's not going to happen, Andy. He got a piece of that one. If he'd come a little further out of his net, Jakes, he would have been able to stop it squarely with his stick and leave it teed up for his defenseman to come back. But he didn't. He just sort of deflected it, and it went up over the glass. So what a change in this face-off location, and that is the absolute key to every face-off right now, is where is it going to be?
Well, it will be in the Boston end of the ice. You see the Caps trying to get things set for them. Terry Murray positioning his players. Hunter will take the face-off. Bruce and Ridley to his right. Johansson and Stevens at the points. Hunter gets tied up with Christian on this face-off. The puck comes back along the boards. And held in. Johansson with a drive. Changed direction. And the Boston Bruins able to clear it from harm's way. Now it comes outside the line toward an empty net and well wide. There will be no icing. And the final 3 seconds tick down. Not enough time for the Caps. Their season comes to a close. The Bruins beat them 3-2 and sweep the Prince of Wales Conference Championship in 4 straight games. And shakes at the bench. Now the Bruins back to congratulate Andy Moog, and what another. And the coaching staff meet at the bench. Ed Sater, Bobby Laird, a high five, some low fives, some head bumping, and all of it that goes with a trip to the Stanley Cup Final. For these guys, the Washington Capitals, the story a little different. The fans maybe have their hearts broken to a degree, but they'll mend. And they'll be back in the fall when the Caps resume training camp in September and open the season in October. But for the Boston Bruins, they'll go to the Stanley Cup Finals as they did in '88, as they've done so many times before. And they'll have 8 days to rest. And now the teams line up in the center ice area, led by goaltender Andy Moog. The first through the receiving line. Good luck. Good series. And everything else that is said when it's all over and done. There's John Druce. You think of the series that he had against the Devils, against the Rangers. Still able to get a couple of goals in this series, but not enough to carry the Caps. There's number 19, John Druce. He has a year and an option year to go on his contract. Dave Poulin, who had such a big game in Game 1 of the series, and as a member of the Philadelphia Flyers, had been to the Stanley Cup Finals before. Now he has another trip, as does Brian Propp, as does Bob Gould. Labored so long, so many years here for the Washington Capitals. John Davidson is standing by with his guest. JD.
Thanks very much, Jiggs. With the winning coach, Mike Milbury. First of all, Mike, congratulations.
Thanks, John. It's an awfully good feeling, boy. We worked hard. We've worked hard to get here, and it ain't over yet.
In your mind, what were the keys to you sweeping the Caps?
Well, I got to say, Andy Moog and our defense were just outstanding. You know, they took a good beating. The Caps were very physical, but they weren't dissuaded in any way. They just kept on coming back. The guys were terrific.
Now you have something to deal with, and that could be what you call a long layoff before the next series starts. What are your plans to try and get through a long layoff?
Get lost, John. I'm going to enjoy this, for Christ's sake.
Congratulations, Mike. Okay, Jakes.
All right, Mike Bilberry. Success in his first year as a coach in the National Hockey League. He brought discipline to his team. He brought some excellent coaching, and he has 3 lines that are playing so well and a very confident goaltender. The celebration scene at the Boston bench when they had run out the final few seconds and win this game by a score of 3-2. Let's pause for a regional break. SportsChannel America's coverage of the Wales Conference Championship Series continues.
The Bruins have done it. Their first sweep in 11 years, 3-2 tonight over the Washington Capitals. Let's review the scoring in the game. As in the prior 3 games in this series, the Bruins got the first goal. Carter, his first of the series, 5th overall, from Carpenter at 53 seconds. Late in the period, the power play struck. Cam Neely, his first of 2 on the night from Hallgood and Janney, 2-0 at the end of the first period. Nick Kyprios got the only goal of the second. That got Washington back into it emotionally, too. Ridley and Leach assisting at 15:32. In the third period, a quick strike. Again, it came from the stick of Neely. Prop and Janney at 2:08. The Bruins ahead by a count of 3-1. And then Dale Hunter collecting from Drewson Miller at 10:27. The Capitals were without a shot in the first 7 minutes of that third period. Overall, low shot totals on the night. Only 5 in the third period. Washington with 3, the Bruins with 2. So the Bruins earned some hardware tonight. Let's go to John Davidson.
All right. We've got the entire Boston Bruin team here, gang. We've got Mr. Gil Stein, Vice President General Counsel of the National Hockey League, here on my right. On the other side, the captain, Raymond Bourque, along with the alternate captain, Cam Neely, and Craig Janney is somewhere. There he is. Gil, you have a presentation.
Absolutely. Ray, Cam, Craig, the entire team, the coaches, Mike. It gives me great pleasure on behalf of the National Hockey League and the Prince of Wales Conference to award this trophy, which you've earned, and to tell you that we look forward to, all of us in hockey look forward to a very exciting Stanley Cup Finals, and we wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you very much. It's really been a total team effort. We won this series just like we won the whole year, playing good, strong defense from the goaltender all the way out, really taking care of our end and coming through with some big goals. And, really, Bruins are not just 1 or 2 or 3, 4 guys, 20 guys every time going out there doing the job.
Ray, your team got better as the series moved along. How much better can you get?
Well, I think we could get better, and I think we will. I think 3 steps and 1 more step to go, and I think that, a lot of guys are on a mission here, and we're hungry, and, we want to win it all.
In '88, you were in the Stanley Cup Final. You were swept by Edmonton. You've got a different style of team now, one with a lot more discipline, a lot of speed. Again, what do you think will be the difference going into a final this time around?
Well, we don't know if it's Edmonton yet, but, whoever it is, I think we got a better club, and like you said, we got a lot more speed now, and, we're really playing with a lot of confidence, and we're solid in all departments. So I think whoever we meet, it's going to be a great series, and, we're confident, and we're going there to win.
All right, congratulations to you and your complete team. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very quick, very efficient. 7 days, start to finish, for a Bruins sweep, and for the second time in 3 years, a berth in the finals for Boston. More in just a moment.
Well, Ray Bourque, the captain of the Boston Bruins, has joined us for some more final thoughts. What an outstanding series for your Bruins team, sweeping the Washington Caps. Let me ask you this. Are you surprised that it's come this easy? I mean, it was very difficult against the Hartford Whalers, and I know you didn't play all of the games, but since then, boy, Montreal in 5 and here the Washington Caps in 4. Are you surprised at all?
Yes, I think it's not easy. It's more of a surprise than anything else. I think whenever you find yourself up 3-0 against a team like Montreal and against a team like Washington, you always kind of feel, you know, a little surprised and really happy about things. But, you know, we've worked hard and took it one at a time, and, you know, it's just been great so far.
One of the keys is always goaltending. Andy Moog was fabulous. He has been fabulous in the playoffs and was again tonight. Tell us about playing in front of him.
Well, he's such in control. You know, he really talks a lot. He lets you know what's going on, who's coming, what's in front, and icings, all kinds of stuff. So he's really vocal, and whenever you have a goalie doing that, it's a tremendous help. And he handles the puck really well, and he controls his rebounds pretty good. So, you know, from the goaltenders all the way out, we've done a great job, and he's made the first stop, you know, through the whole playoffs, and you know, we've been around to clear anything that's been too far out in front of the net.
Outstanding so far. Good luck in the finals.
Thank you very much.
Ray Bourque of the Boston Bruins, the captain that led the way. Let's go to Jigs McDonald.
Bill, I'm reminded of what all of us said as the series shifted back here to Washington. We said, look out, the Caps at home, the bigger ice surface, it'll be a different style of game. Well, it was a little style change, but really when it comes right down to it, the Bruins were quicker than so many of us anticipated. The extra ice surface didn't make that big a difference. This Boston team with the speed that everybody has talked about and with the good balance, their third and fourth lines playing so well, will be a force to reckon with when the Stanley Cup Finals begin. The Bruins win it by a score of 3-2 here at the Cap Center and sweep this best-of-7 series in 4 consecutive games. Now they get that well-deserved rest before moving on to the Stanley Cup Final. Final here tonight, the Boston Bruins over the Washington Capitals by a score of 3-2. Our coverage from the Capitol Center will continue in just a moment.
Welcome back to our New York studios. I'm Bob Papa. For the 17th time, the Boston Bruins will be in the Stanley Cup Finals. They complete the sweep of the Washington Capitals this evening, winning at the Cap Center by a score of 4-2. So the Boston Bruins, one of the final 4 teams that has advanced. The Bruins beat Washington in 4 games. Who will they play, Chicago or Edmonton? Well, that action continues right here on SportsChannel America. The Campbell Conference Finals, game number 5 from the Northlands Coliseum, Thursday evening, 9:30 Eastern Time. Chicago and Edmonton. That series tied up at 2 games apiece. Now we're going to take you back to the Cap Center for more of the wrap-up of tonight's game as the Bruins beat the Capitals by a score of 4-2. Back to Washington. Here's Mike Emmerich.
In the third period, Washington had pulled back to within 1. The next goal would be a big one, and it was. And as so many big Bruins goals this year and in the playoffs, it came from number 8, Cam Neely, on a feed from Craig Janney, who had 2 points in each of these games. It was the Bruins winning over the Capitals 3-2. Let's not leave behind the Washington Capitals, though, in the splendid year that they had. With Terry Murray is John Davidson.
Thanks very much, Mike. Terry, I suppose, first of all, were the Boston Bruins a better team than what a lot of people expected?
They're a better team, Jeff. Excuse me, Jeff. I just did an interview on Home Team Sports with John, sorry. But they're a better team. Anytime you come in and sweep a series 4 straight and you win it in another team's building, they're a good hockey club, and they're deserving of the trophy here that they've won tonight. And you know, I wish we had played better. I wish we had played like we did in the other 2 series and give them, you know, some better games. It was close, but it wasn't close enough, and they are a better hockey club than what was expected going in. They have real good depth and certainly, as we know, good goaltending.
I know during a series, coaches hate to use the word excuse, but you did not have Ciccarelli and Hatcher. What did that mean?
You miss your top players, John, but I'm not going to say that that's an excuse. You know, we did not play as well together as a team as what we did in the other playoff series, and that's the bottom line. We had some of our better players who had opportunities to score. We didn't score at those times. We turned the puck over, making, you know, several mistakes that were very costly.
You took over in midstream as head coach of this club, going through the playoffs, winning the Patrick Division, and then losing to Boston, of course, in the conference final. What did you learn?
Well, John, I learned an awful lot. You can, you know, you come to this level and you get to play in the conference finals, the semifinals of the Stanley Cup, and you can talk about it all you want and say, guys, this is what it's going to be like. But to actually experience it for myself and for the young players that we have in the dressing room, it's you can't replace it. You can't ever buy that experience. And next time that we're here, we're going to have a better understanding what it's all about and be better prepared.
I'm sure you will. Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you, John.
Let's go back to Mike Emmerich.
The man who brought Terry Murray on in January, David Poyle, the general manager, said, "This was not our best team since I've been here, but our most determined." They were a determined group. But Boston was strong. Took them out 4 straight tonight. More in just a moment. A patient yet a very emotional squad, these Bruins, who dominated Washington and swept them in 4 games. In the 240 minutes of the series, Washington led only 3 minutes and 26 seconds, and that was in the very first game. Let's get some other thoughts on this series, first with Bill Clement.
Well, Mike, I think I'll talk about the Boston Bruins. We talked about some keys, and we have to start with the play of Andy Moog. I mean, goaltending in the playoffs is always one of the keys, and when you take a look at Andy's numbers, he allowed a total of 6 goals in 4 games. That means his goals against average was 1.5. He was definitely a key to victory here against the Washington Caps. Another one of the keys, and I start talking about this in October, maybe November, it's team defense. It's the ability to keep the puck out of your net. Well, Andy Moog was a big part of that, but also the people that played in front of him played an inspired defense. That's why they were ranked #1 in the regular season. I think the third key was discipline for the Boston Bruins. I mean, they turned the other cheek so many times that they're bruised and battered, and they lost a lot of the battles, but they won the war because Mike Milbury has these guys understanding that revenge comes in the form of victory and not in the form of retaliation. So the Bruins are going to be tough in the finals. With more thoughts on the Washington Capitals' perspective on this series, let's join John Davidson. John?
You know, we talked a lot about the players and how well they played, the discipline they showed, but I think Boston, you have to go back to the beginning of the season. The new head coach, Mike Milbury, had words for his team. He didn't want a team that was going to play roughshod, that was going to go out and start fights before the puck was dropped on faceoffs and start things after whistles. The team was the second least penalized team in the league, team that was #1 on defense, and you have to look to Boston to have a tremendous final. It should be a lot of fun. The Boston Bruins look very, very sharp. Let's go to you, Jigs.
Well, John, the guy that I think of tonight is General Manager Harry Sinden, who has waited very patiently, put together a team, and 3 acquisitions during the season. 2 late from the Philadelphia Flyers, Brian Propp and Dave Poulin, and, of course, the acquisition of Dave Christian from the same Washington team. Is he a genius, or does he just pick the pockets of some other teams and put together a very, very good hockey team that, as I said before, will be a very forceful effort when it gets around to the Stanley Cup final? They are a good team. Mike Emmerich?
So the finals will open in Boston, where the Bruins have won 8 straight games. Who will they face? Well, a step closer will be taken to that answer tomorrow night. Series even at 2, Game 5 at Edmonton, 9:30 Eastern on Sports Channel America with Pat Foley and Dale Talon. Coming up next, Darryl Burnett and Betsy Ross with Sports Nightly. For Jigs McDonald, Bill Clement, and John Davidson, Mike Emmerich saying goodnight from the nation's capital.